There's no way that was cocaine. There's just no way. There's no way. You guys are nodding. Yes, it was cocaine that fell out of the nose of Robbie Williams. There's just no way that he decided that that's what he was going to do there. It has to be something else.
Are you not familiar with Robbie Williams? Because you can never utter, there's just no way cocaine was around blank, and that blank being Robbie Williams. If Robbie Williams is part of this investigation, then there's always a strong chance.
Yeah. Are you not familiar with the common practice of cocaine falling out your nose and then sticking it on your forehead? Everyone knows that.
Well, we have an investigation pending. We are in the VAR room right now, and there's some that say it fell out of his mouth. And that does change things a little bit. But for those that know ball, not really.
If it fell out of his mouth, can it be anything else? Can it be some sort of spittle? Can it be an optical illusion? Can it be anything other than what you guys are saying? Because when you say to me, are you not familiar with Robbie Williams? My counter would be, are you not familiar with World Cup security efforts?
No, I'm very familiar with that. And if Robbie Williams wants to do cocaine, the Secret Service is not stopping Robbie Williams from doing said cocaine.
Zaz, which way are you voting here? You're voting that it's out, that Robbie Williams decided, as part of the first ever halftime show experience that there has been at a World Cup, where they try and put on a Super Bowl type of appearance, and did put on a Super Bowl halftime type of show. You're voting, and you have to be right. You're saying that Robbie Williams' cocaine fell out of his nose, and his quick thinking in that instance was to grab it and rub it through his hair, or just place it in his hair for later.
Yayo fell out of his nose, Dan.
I'm team it fell out of his mouth, but I'm also team I think it was coke, because Robbie Williams is at the center of this. We should say allegedly for everything here. But
isn't it understood, given that I'm saying that there's no way it was cocaine, and the only way it's being alleged is that you guys are saying to me as I ask you, look, this can't be real. I feel like the allegedly is baked into the conversation.
No, something was baked, all right. Here's my strongest piece of evidence. Did you see Robbie Williams earlier in the day perform?
Well, I saw him dressed in a tracksuit, and so
yes, a shiny, glimmering tracksuit.
Yes,
his hair. My dude was. Well, he was on something. Might have been adrenaline.
He was also lip syncing.
Everyone was.
Yeah, was Tom Cruise? I don't think Tom Cruise was lip syncing.
No, what a performance from Tom Cruise.
Holding the glasses too. Like if he was like, I'm too busy. Like I'm not gonna put them on. I'm not gonna give them to somebody else. I'm just gonna hold them.
You don't think that Tom Cruise was lip syncing. You just think that all of the performers were lip syncing. When watching a lip syncing performance, I always think that the performer has to feel ridiculous, going and trying to summon the fake energy involved with I'm not singing at all. I'm just mouthing words.
I hate it. They lose me immediately when I see that it's lip syncing. It's just it's dumb. It's a dumb performance, the lip syncing.
Well, Jack White wouldn't do it. I guess.
Good.
I'm assuming Jack White's like, I'm not going to go up there and lip sync. Go send some Muppets.
What was that about, by the way? I saw him play the drums. I was like, who's this for?
No, wait a minute. What are you saying?
I know who it was for.
Americana all over the place. What do you mean? Madonna, Tom Cruise, the Muppets? Like, Muppets, I put Muppets pretty high on the list of you don't need to know any language. You know that those things are American.
Yeah, sure. Okay, but somebody in like Bosnia is like, what is this? Like, who are these? What are these things?
You don't think they pop for Ted Lasso?
You think that put it on the poll at Le Batard Show, was Bosnia wondering who the Muppets were?
Football is back, Jack. The beautiful game is on a roll, and we'll have an eye on every goal, shouting magisterial. No need to back down. Just park the bus, stop the attack. Will the hand of God put your header back on track? Football is back, Jack. Mbappe's flying through the air. Ronaldo's here for one last prayer. Will Messi come out to play? Or is it victory for the USA? It's corner kicks when the box is packed. That's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say. just strike the ball, start the attack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back. Football is back, Jack.
Lamine Yamal's father is Tony's age.
I could have a progeny out there, Dan.
Put it on the poll. I think it's Prodigy. No? Prodigy, isn't it?
Prodigy.
It's not Prodigy. It's,
We're off to a rip-roaring start.
Is it Progeny? Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Would you be okay with Cape Verde being made the second-place finisher right now? Mike Ryan might have been right in preferring to go to Atlanta to watch Cape Verde instead of Messi. I think I would have preferred to watch England try to do something because for the people who do not like soccer, that's not quite the punctuation you want in terms of fun, where you're watching the best player in the world and you have no proof that the best player in the world is anywhere on the field the entire game.
That third place game, though, was bananas.
Yeah, that didn't appear to be a whole lot of people trying, and defense is hard, and Spain seems to be historically good at it. I want to ask the question of the group here as we're on LeBron Watch today because DraftKings Sportsbook, now available everywhere, all 50 states, has the Miami Heat as the prominent betting favorite on landing LeBron James. Pat Riley will be here. We will be talking to him in the post-game show later on in the show. But I wanted to ask the group here just across sports, because you've heard me say before that I think that defense is generally criminally underregarded when we do all our analysis on who should be stars, who should be great, who should be excellent in sport. It's supposed to be half the game. We do not treat it like it is half the game. Zaz is one of the few people in the world who loves a 6-3 football game, just really enjoys an American football game that is 6-3.
Yep.
But when I ask you all-time defenses across sports, okay, Spain has to go in that conversation when they go an entire tournament of this magnitude and allow one goal. Belgium is the only team that scored against them, and the way that they punctuate it, right, is the way that Ray Lewis's defense punctuated against the Giants in a Super Bowl, where you're not going to do anything. Like, our enduring, echoing announcement from this entire tournament is we're going to take the best player in the world, and you're going to have no proof that he's anywhere on the field because we're that good at stopping everyone. There's going to be no space on this field for everyone. Keep in mind, the defending champions, Argentina, had 8 of their 11 starters from the last time they won this thing, and they could do nothing the entire game. And their behavior was a temper tantrum. Like, they were embarrassed by the fact the world is watching. This is going nowhere, and there's no way that we're going to go at the end of this game and do what we've done in the last 4, even though they did have some chances late once people got tired late in that game. Give me the all-time defenses. Give me all of the all-time defenses that you guys would name. And do you think that if we sat here for the rest of the day and took all of sports and all of sports history, that the group of us will be able to name 5 all-time defenses? And how many of them are outside of American football? Like, how many of the defenses, like, you're not taking any from...
Right, that'll be tough. That'll be tough. Like, I think about, for NBA, the first top of the list for me is the 04 Pistons. Like, that team, I remember they had a stretch of like a dozen straight games where they held their opponent under 70. You know, that's like the best NBA defense I've ever seen.
I don't know, Zaz. I think last year's Oklahoma City Thunder, by metrics and by everything, is the best defense we've ever seen in the NBA.
Couple of soccer comps. 06 Italy, for me, that was a gold standard until what Spain just did. I think Spain now becomes the new cliche, at least on the international side. 04-05 Chelsea, I think they had 25 clean sheets. Jose Mourinho just totally revolutionized the defensive game. They were a defensive force.
We can do it in hockey, couldn't we? We can do it in hockey, ruining
the zone defense
teams.
of the New Jersey Devils.
Neutral zone trap, yep, 1995.
And in football, it's the 85 Bears and the Ray Lewis defense, correct?
I would put the Buccaneers defense, too. The Buccaneers Super Bowl defense there also.
Can I argue the 1998 Braves because of their pitching staff? Like, that is what a defense is really your pitching, right?
Well, I think of defense as like what the Cubs have up the middle of the field, but that's not something anybody's going to be doing in baseball.
Right. Lloyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather.
Yes.
Let's put him on there.
Yes, that is a great one, but you have to look at what it is that you just saw, and this part is the interesting part to me, Zaz. Despite baby behavior in that game from Argentina and its star, Messi, what he's bought himself over the last 5 years is that performance can happen and his status remains unimpeachable.
Yeah.
I also believe that because of that, the status remaining unimpeachable, even if you were bored by that game and even if you think Messi no-showed, I think most people watching that are thinking to themselves, well, that was done to Messi. That was done to Argentina by an all-time defense. This is not Messi coming up small in a big game, but if this had been the performance 4 years ago from Messi in the final, we'd still be questioning him.
Yeah.
Like that disappearance was so profound as to not recognize the previous 4 games that Argentina had played when they're scoring 9 goals after the 80th minute.
I mean, I think there's an interesting thing to talk about when it comes to Messi, where just think about how close he is to never having won the World Cup. They won 4 years ago in penalties. He's really close to never having won.
They didn't have a shot on goal until the 117th minute yesterday. Like that is what I'm saying. Look, put Spain on the all-time list of most amazing, suffocating things you've ever seen in sport. They didn't just take the guy who's the greatest and put him away. They did it in a way that made him fundamentally invisible when the last 4 games made us ask, does Spain even want to be up 1-0 late? Like that was a question we asked last week. Does Spain take right now in the 80th minute, you're up 1-0 against Argentina? That is something that was asked by Zaslow last week. Now, to be fair,
I was right.
To common sense, no, you're not right.
I was right. It was 0-0 in the 80th minute, and Spain ended up winning.
To be clear to the audience,
I was right.
That comment did receive some pushback.
I was right.
Zaz, to be fair, Zaz watched the entirety of the tournament and looked up at some point and he said, Spain hasn't allowed a goal yet after watching all of the games. So his soccer analysis in that one respect left something to be desired. But what do you mean you were right?
Of course I was right. Would Spain have rather been up 1-0 in the 80th minute where Argentina always comes back and wins, or would they rather just be 0-0? And guess what? They were 0-0 and they won.
So you say, so you're arguing that you were right.
Yeah.
That Spain, if
They
Spain,
took my advice, Spain.
So just to be clear on what you're arguing, if Spain had been up 1-0, you're saying I go to their players on the field and I'm like, hey, look, I understand this is unusual. We're going to offer you the chance to take your goal off and just say you don't want it, and we're going to make it 0-0.
Yeah.
You think that Spain is selecting that because they'd rather not be in the position where Messi has to urgently and desperately come back?
Dan, I have all the evidence in front of me. Every one of these games, Argentina was down a goal going into the 80th minute. They won all of those games. This game yesterday, it was 0-0, and Spain won. And guess what, Dan? Argentina's first shot came after it was 1-0 Spain.
The world is talking about this game today. Nobody as poorly as us. When that is the analysis, you're not getting anywhere else.
That's why they took the goal off the board. Like, we can't go up 1-0.
No. Too early.
Yeah.
Too early.
By the way, an egregious call. And I'm so glad that Spain ended up completing that ass kicking and scoring a rightful goal, because I'm not one to give oxygen to the Argentina conspiracy theory all that much. I'm always bucking against it because I think that it ignores their collective greatness. But that was an embarrassment. It was a blight on the game. That's as bad as it gets. I know the Argentinian player got stepped on a little bit. It had nothing to do with the positioning. That goal, we saw how difficult goals were to come by in that game. Shout out to Nico Williams, who totally changed the dynamic of that game too. To take that goal off the board in that spot, if Argentina did the Argentina thing where they survive that and it goes to pens and they end up winning that match, Martinez was brilliant, by the way. I would have favored him in a PK matchup. Thank God we are not dealing with the show where FIFA embarrassed themselves with one of the worst calls of all time. Thank God.
So
Spain
you
won.
would have been upset because
I was
then,
furious.
well,
I'm still upset.
Well, so the conversation would have been today if what you described in the hypothetical had happened. All of a sudden, what the world would have been saying was the punctuation on a really wonderful tournament was the whole thing was rigged for Messi, and it would have felt like it had more credence than it had.
I wouldn't have had anything to buck up against that. That to me is as bad as it gets. That was horrific.
Dan, I saw going into the game yesterday, Argentina was the only team of all 48 countries in the World Cup that did not have a single VAR go against them. That's kind of nutty.
And they got roughhousing kinds of penalties without getting yellow cards before yesterday. Like they weren't being carded very much at all. But can we stop that though? You don't want to stop the idea that FIFA's so corrupt that they were trying to make Messi win the game yesterday, and that goal reversal is proof of that. Like you guys still want to rummage around in that bin?
No, I don't ever want to rummage in that bin because I think it takes away from the sporting competition, but I wouldn't have had an argument against that. If that goal remained off the board the way that it did and Argentina found a way to win that game and it ended up costing Spain, that would have been a nightmare scenario for soccer fans everywhere that love the game. That was just brutal. And then it becomes, because the American sports fan and cable television debate shows, they know how to talk about that. And then they're only talking about your World Cup experience through that lens, through corruption, through bad officiating, and it would have been such a blight on an entire tournament. I'm glad Spain ended up the victors because, like I said, as bad as it gets.
Were we doing this 4 years ago when Messi had never won a World Cup?
Yeah, because of his success from the penalty spot. The story of Argentina's successful run 4 years ago was they got a lot of penalties. They did so much of their damage from that penalty spot. This one was more run of play and incredible tenacity. Anytime they ran into it, they were clutch. So I hated that narrative was around some of this stuff, particularly that Egyptian match. That's going to be part of the story, and Egypt's football association manager gave fuel to that. That would have crescendoed. We would have reached critical mass if that ended up impacting this final.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day.
Yesterday's final was the first time ever that Lionel Messi started a FIFA World Cup match without creating a single chance for one of his teammates. Not one. Mike Ryan mentioned a blight on the game. Is this a blight on the game? Donald Trump wandering around the stage at some point doing his masturbating the elephants dance and refusing to get off of the stage, even though they were trying to sort of usher him off of the stage. Any thoughts on this as a potential blight here? That some of the Spanish players refused to shake his hand, correct?
Yeah, I saw Lamine Yamal. It's kind of tough to ignore him when he's a person applying the medals to you, but I saw Lamine Yamal skipped. This is just brutal. Infantino trying to get Donald Trump off the stage for the photo op. I saw Spain has cropped him out of a lot of the photos. I straight up did not watch the ceremony because I'm a Chelsea supporter, and it totally ruined the experience for me last year. And a lot of people found it funny. I was just like, I know what's about to happen here. At least he got booed. I dug that.
Mike was saying that the American sports media knows how to talk about fixing. Does the American sports media know how to talk about whether that was indeed cocaine falling out of the nose of Robbie Williams? I want to ask you another poll-related question. If you're over 40 years old and wearing the tracksuit, have you given up? That because in soccer, a lot of people are wearing the tracksuit. A lot of the coaches, the assistants, the ones that aren't in suits, during practice and whatnot, wear the tracksuit. But I know that the tracksuit is the eminent domain of the fat guy after 40 who doesn't want to actually put on a belt or anything else, so you just put on the sweatpants and you go. I think Zaz's future, much to Tamara's dismay, has a whole lot of this in it. But I want, not the cocaine, the tracksuit. Robbie Williams does, though, get dressed to do the post-game shows. Was this post-game or halftime?
I think this was on a German post-match broadcast here.
And so you guys are claiming the cocaine rock fell out of his nose
or mouth. We'll find out together.
And landed on his microphone. He picked it up, took it, and everyone sees what's happening. He's holding it now.
Put it on your forehead.
And now he scratches his his forehead, and it does indeed stick there. So I've lost my ability to call that spittle because it's not drying up and it's staying as a solid compound.
It's for later.
So wait a minute. So now you've got Robbie Williams on television, and he's looking for it. He's trying to scratch it. Somebody's saying to him, evidently, hey, Robbie, you've got cocaine on your forehead. Try and scratch it off. This is crazy. Like, even though it's not crazy, even though you guys are telling me, are you familiar with the whole thing with Robbie Williams? And also just look at him. Like, that guy. If I didn't know any better, I would say that's Robbie Williams. If I didn't know better and it wasn't a famous person, I would say, yeah, that's Miami and that's a Saturday night. That's how somebody dresses in Miami on a Saturday night. They put on a bunch of jewelry, too much cologne, and there's cocaine on their
How'd you know it
forehead.
was Cuban?
The presence of mind. He saw it fall on his microphone, and what makes me think that it was indeed a foreign substance was the presence of mind to take it off the microphone and then put it in his hair. Like, that's a veteran player that's done that move before.
I'd like to break this down. We have the telestrator, and I'd like to break this down frame by frame. So let's go ahead and play the video, and I'll tell you guys when we should stop. So
Presence of mind?
We
You
have
thought that was presence of
Robbie
mind?
Williams here. He's putting in some headphones. He grabs the microphone, and this is the moment we're going to look for. It cuts close. All right, so stop. No, go back. Give me a few frames back. Let's go back right now. Let's get back to where he is.
So his nose or his mouth?
Let's find out right here. All right. So give me frame by frame. Frame by frame.
Highlight. I think I see a little white residue in his mouth.
Here. That's where I see the little white residue. If we can get that up on the
Great
screen.
job.
You could see it right
Why
here.
would there
now,
be cocaine
let's
in his
keep
mouth?
playing. Let's keep
We'll
playing.
explain this to you later, buddy.
Little
You
frame
don't
by
know
frame.
ball.
Let's go right here. Oh, there it goes. It shoots right down here. Now, let's see what happens next, because I believe you're going to see ultimately the cocaine go right up there to the corner of his forehead. So I'm going to go back here for a second. I'm undoing this. So you see it shoot down. Let's keep things rolling here. Now, you can see it right there. Stop right there. Nope. Back. Few frames back. All right, we're going to need to see this gun. All right, play that once again. Let's go forward. Stop right there. Now,
right there.
circling
It's
right here,
right
you
there.
could see what may be cocaine right here on this pink microphone. You see Magenta TV. Now, let's continue to play this video. Let's see what happens next
T-Mobile
as
must
Robbie
love
Williams
this.
grabs the cocaine, potentially, allegedly. It's in his hand. He's waving it around. Now, you'll see the left hand go up to the forehead. Stop right there.
Put that shit on your
This
forehead.
is the area you want to see. You want to analyze this right here. So let's get rid of that. Let's go forward. Let's go. And stop right there. All right. No need to go back. We see the alleged cocaine in the corner of his forehead, potentially being saved for later.
The presence of mind that this has been described as, I would say that the way all of that happened for Robbie Williams is the worst way it could happen. You're telling me presence of mind. He's bringing yet more attention to did I see that by not just brushing it off of the microphone, by taking it, rolling it around in his finger, holding on to it for a couple of beats because he was hiding it, and then scratching his hair/forehead. He did not intend to leave it stuck to
I
his
don't know
forehead.
that. I don't know that.
You know, he was trying to conceal that. You know
Yeah,
this.
he was. He was trying to put it on the hairline. He just missed by a little bit.
Why is that presence of mind, and why do you guys think it's presence of mind when all he did was try to put the cocaine on his mind?
Well, because he did not want to lose the rock. I mean, I don't know what the street value of what landed on that microphone was, but you don't just throw that away. It was sizable, Dan. He's got to do a better job of, mashing that shit up.
Which do you think is harder for the friend, to tell you that you have something stuck in your teeth or that you got a grain on your forehead?
That street value can't be very much, Mike. I thought it was spittle. It's a very, I don't know what is a large or small
that's a
rock.
rock, dude.
I don't know if that's a large or small rock.
No one takes their spittle and puts it on their forehead.
It seems to me, though, like it's a small, if it's a rock of any kind. I was questioning whether it was a solid compound of any kind. I thought because it came out of his mouth that it was spittle. Once he placed it on his forehead, it was clearly not. Please forgive my ignorance here because the ignorance is real. Keep getting closer there. Show me the size of this. Keep getting closer. And you guys tell me, you're alleging that's a sizable rock? You guys
Coke is wider than his teeth.
Why was it in his mouth? Please, again, help me. I don't know.
When you run out, you smash the bottom, you flip the bag, you take that, you put it on your guns, allegedly.
So that rock is looking bigger as we get a little bit closer.
There are some portions of the internet that are accusing this of being a pill of some sort. Either way, it was of some value to Robbie Williams because he noticed that it fell on the magenta mic sock.
And he's like, let me put this shit on
Yeah,
my
I
forehead.
can't just afford to toss this aside. I need to keep this.
The biggest pop culture story from the World Cup was that or the halftime show, like in terms of just pop culture. If I give you your options here, you got Trump, you've got that, and you've got the halftime show. What is the biggest pop culture item? Robbie Williams is going to have to answer for this, right? Somebody is going to
This is all good
To
for Robbie
who?
Williams. It's all good for Robbie Williams. I love this for Robbie.
No, Mike, I think you're taking my question the wrong way. When I say he's going to have to answer for this, I don't mean like there are going to be consequences. I mean somebody at some point is going to have to ask him a question, and at some point he's going to have a quote that either denies or doesn't deny that that is indeed cocaine. There's going to be a quote that comes from Robbie Williams. This is such a pop culture thing at this moment that the next step on advancing this story is Robbie Williams commenting on it, correct?
Robbie's pretty honest. He hasn't shied away from his reputation. I don't know if we're in a part of his story where he's trying to claim that he's clean. If so, it's a daily battle, and maybe this is a bad look in this moment in time. But Robbie Williams famously likes to celebrate the debaucherous aspects of his very highly publicized life.
Let me put to the side for a moment the World Cup. Chris Whittingham's going to be here to talk about it with us, and we're going to be talking about it most of the show.
Don't put it totally aside. Put it on your forehead. Save it for later.
Snort it a little bit later. We will get to more World Cup stuff, but before Pat Riley joins us late in the show, the thing that I wanted to ask you guys about Miami now being the betting favorite, I'm assuming it's going to happen this week. I'm assuming that once Adam Silver is giving you the quotes, get me the sound, please, of Adam Silver. This is not something that you very often hear as it relates to a person who is the oldest player in the league, just holding everything up in a way that makes the commissioner say this.
Where LeBron plays will affect the schedule. So I would like him to make his announcement already so we can finish the schedule because, as you might imagine, the teams are calling us, the networks are calling us, and everybody wants to lock in the schedule. But it will influence how we set the schedule, how we set opening week, Christmas Day, etc. So I need him to make a decision, but the direct answer is I have no inside information.
All of that is a crazy admission. Just the all of it. Now, if he's telling the truth that he has no inside information, I honestly can't believe how quiet all of this is. That given all of the years that we've had of practice as in terms of just chasing LeBron around, the fact that the information is so sealed that Chris Cody, and I need to get an explanation from the group on this because I have all sorts of issues at all times with the way that you guys sometimes reflect poorly on me because Chris Cody is now out there with something that he has put out into the world, hearing that LeBron will make his decision late afternoon tomorrow to play in Miami. This was sent yesterday at 7 p.m. Why would Chris Cody do this? Has anyone talked to Chris Cody? Why is Chris Cody not here today?
He's on assignment chasing a big story.
He did it because he's an asshole, Dan. And I texted him after this because I had several reputable reporters reaching out to me saying, how seriously should I take this report?
I had people from Cleveland texting me last night about it.
Yeah, I had people in multiple different areas texting me.
What's he doing?
I assume it's because he's heard, on good authority that this is happening. When Chris does put himself out there, I think it was about the last time he did this was about a game that was going to be played in Spain.
Didn't end up happening. Yeah.
Wait, didn't?
No, but
Great.
I don't think the opponent was the right
It
opponent.
was the Dolphins didn't end up playing. It was like somebody else or something. I don't know.
Well, this is something that's happening. And when Brian Windhorst got decontextualized a little bit, he was trying to touch on this. This is one of the nightmare byproducts of stretching this out this long. I've heard from about 200 Miami douchebags that LeBron James is 100% coming to Miami. And you have to consider the source. And I'm not saying that these Miami douchebags are going to be wrong. They feel very strongly that they're going to be right. But what Brian Windhorst was trying to say is Miami is not the only town with douchebags that are 100% sure that LeBron James is signing there. There's also 100 Cleveland douchebags, 100 Philly douchebags.
Yeah, but what about the change in the betting odds that makes Miami what appears to be a prohibitive favorite right now to land LeBron James? Because taking you guys back for a second, okay, 16 years ago, and we've talked about this before, both Stephen A. Smith and I were hearing at the same time from an assortment of different people that same thing where these things require planning. He's bringing in a giant economy and business to town, and there are certain preparations that need to be made before he does that. I think he's delaying this because he wants to enjoy his vacation before he has to ramp up the start of whatever is moving his economy, not his life, moving the economy over to Miami or wherever where people have to get to work on the planning for next season because this is a giant thing that moves even though it's the oldest thing in the league. Stephen A. Smith said at the time, I will never go through, and I said the same thing, the fear that I had because I reported something was so based on so many people telling me that they had it, that they knew that it was so. LeBron was coming to Miami. But at the time, Bosch and Wade were both saying, yeah, we think so, but we've got to watch because we're not sure, right? This happened with Ricky Williams his last year at Texas. He's going up to the press conference to announce that he's leaving, and then he changes his mind on the way up there and says, I'm staying for a year. So people were worried in Miami that because it's one guy's decision and he's in control of all knowing, that he would change his mind at the last minute and then they would be wrong. But the same thing is now happening where you're hearing everywhere so much that, yeah, LeBron's coming, that I don't trust that it's gotten to Chris Cody, and I don't trust his vetting process on who he's getting this from.
I thought he missed a golden opportunity to tweet that from the Slow Report.
What are the odds that he was just drunk after the World Cup and meant to do it from the Slow Report?
Well, the timing, my investigation suggests that the time stamp on that is 7:03 p.m. while he's on holiday after a World Cup final. Yeah. Likelihood is that there was something in his system.
Zaz, what's he doing?
I don't know what he's doing.
I don't feel comfortable speaking for him.
I don't know.
Well, he's not here speaking for himself.
Well, I sent him a text asking, and his response to that was an eyeball emoji because he's an asshole.
All right, let's get him. Let's find him, call him. I'd like him to explain himself. You can't do this with my reputation.
You're asking him to get his sources out there?
I'm asking what he's doing.
I would go to prison for my story.
I know you would.
He's not a news gatherer. He's not a newsbreaker, but he's also not this kind of joke teller either.
Well, Mike wasn't a newsbreaker until he became a newsbreaker.
No,
Mario Cristobal, Lionel Messi, he hadn't done it before.
No.
Maybe this is Chris's entree into going out there.
Mike was actually doing all sorts of information brokering and talking to people who had credibility. Chris does not have credibility.
Is it going to be something as stupid as he was at a bar in New York City and he heard people saying LeBron's going to make a decision tomorrow?
I don't think so. I hope that he does have a certain standard that this has to pass, because I'm sure Dan's heard the same thing. Zaz, you've heard the same thing too. They're not all douchebags that are thinking that Miami's coming here. There's strong movement right now. The market prices reflect that. It's
because Chris went out there and said it's happening.
No,
and
he didn't
400,000 people have viewed it. So yeah,
he didn't move the
market's
line.
Moved.
Look, if it were Cleveland, I do think that the longer that this goes, the more it suggests that it's a little bit more complicated than him just going back home. No? Now, Bill Simmons has argued that it's still Cleveland. Bill Simmons has been wrong the entire summer. on basketball stuff. But he thinks that the delay is because Cleveland's trying to maneuver ways that they don't have to sign him for the minimum. I think the longer that this is played out, the better it's been for Miami, and the market prices across all the sports books reflect that. Plus 122 market price on the DraftKings Sports app, now available in all 50 states.
The Bill Simmons quote on the pod about LeBron, quote, I would still bet on Cleveland. I think that's going to happen. I think they're just trying to figure out how to get him on the team where they don't have to just pay him the minimum. I am curious as to why it is the betting odds have changed so much that Miami seems to now be a prohibitive favorite.
I mean, Gilbert Arenas said that he spoke to Giannis and that Giannis thinks LeBron is coming here. So maybe that's part of it. But every day that goes by, it seems like more and more people are coming to the side of, well, wait a minute, this Heat team is actually pretty good as constructed. And maybe if LeBron shows up there, he could be the closer that they're looking for. He could be the best possible basketball fit. And as more time goes by, everyone's making that same assumption of, if this was Cleveland, it feels like it already would have been done at this point.
What is swaying me to get my hopes up, it's not just the market prices. It's market prices reflecting a conversation that was started late last week, in that most people are looking at this the wrong way. They're looking at this as a one-year thing because of LeBron's age, and that seems to go without saying. But what Brian Windhorst gave voice to, what is starting to become a popular notion is, Dan, Miami, out of all the teams that are in this pursuit,
Fit.
not just fit, they are lined up to make a successful run here beyond just this year. If you're looking at a multi-year project, if you're LeBron James, like, let me try to stack some rings on the way out, the worst form of this team will be the one that LeBron James walks into. And if he wants to prolong his career, Miami has even more flexibility beyond this season.
Riley disputes some of what you just said, but we will talk to him later in the show, and I am curious what it is that you guys would want to know here. But I don't believe that that is the primary thing that makes Miami attractive to LeBron. I think the primary thing that makes this attractive to LeBron is the fit is perfect. There is no other team that wants him taking the shots at the end.
Yeah, you're putting words in my mouth. I didn't say that was a primary reason. I said the flexibility beyond this year is a good factor for Miami when he's making this decision. I agree with you. I think this makes a ton of sense for LeBron if he wants to remain being the man.
It's not just, though, being the man. It's not playing defense. It's having two superstars built in that you respect. This part is important to me. I don't know how he feels about James Harden, but in Cleveland, you're going to be fighting for the ball with Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, if James Harden even stays there after LeBron gets there. And here, it's plug and play, and I just don't believe that nobody knows anything. Like, this part is confusing to me, because if Pat Riley is working 4 years to get Giannis, it's not for not knowing that he's got a plan that is LeBron or that is Giannis adjacent. Like, it's not just you're going to try and get Giannis, and then it's a coincidence that Wiggins signs the deal the way that he signs the deal.
And that they made no effort to keep Norman Powell.
None. And if you're going through the criticisms, I don't know what you guys think is the chief criticism. I will ask Pat Riley what is the fairest criticism of him. But if you're going through the criticisms, it's waited a year too long on Jimmy Butler, didn't get anything at all for Powell, even though he's an all-star, and you could have traded him you could have had more assets, gotten something for him by trading him at the trade deadline.
But for what? Because if you would have taken on any level of salary that would have gone beyond this year, and by the way, those picks would have ended up being what ended up going in the Giannis deal. Like, every pick that they were going to have that was available would have probably been a part of that Giannis deal. Maybe you could have been in a position to swing another trade next year, but really, having Norman Powell as an expiring contract and just letting him go is what's put them in this position now. There were people criticizing the fact that they didn't make that a sign and trade right now.
Well, but let's examine this part of it for a second, because one of the other mistakes that would get thrown in there if you're going over the entirety of the last 5 years is Kyle Lowry. But think about that for a second. it is fair criticism, I think, to wonder, even though it's a tricky spot, Jimmy Butler, you waited too long. You shouldn't have waited too long. But once you've been burned by that, do you believe the Heat are idiots? Do you believe that they thought to themselves, well, the second half of Norm Powell's season will get us to be an 8 seed that will then knock off the 1 seed because we have Norm Powell? Do you believe they made a mistake there, or that this is the design, that if you're going after Giannis for more than 18 months, the design is to go into next season with somebody else who can handle the ball at the end of games?
I'm sorry, Zaz. If this ends up with LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo, then the last 5 years can look like a sort of master plan that is played out perfectly, but I also don't want to push that narrative. They've made missteps over the last few years.
I think the design was likely to acquire a player who could help them last year, who was on the last year of a deal, and that guy was Norman Powell.
Tony was right about progeny versus prodigy. A progeny is a descendant or an offspring, so it's possible that his progeny was a prodigy, Dan.
Well, which is it, though?
Well, his progeny, he's right, but his progeny could also be a prodigy.
Prioritize the individual over the team, and this would be one of them, because it's not even a no-hitter. Like, that time is past in baseball. There are a lot of bullpen no-hitters, and in fact, I don't even think that they get very much fanfare anymore because of how it is you've cheapened the no-hitter when it's 6 bullpen guys walking 6. But a perfect game. 27 batters faced, your team doesn't make any errors, you don't walk anybody, nobody reaches base. There have only been 24 of those ever. And he was 6 outs away. Do you guys hear a lot of arguments on the other side of this? Is this about as close as you will come to consensus in sports, where most sports fans are like, oh, come on, they used to throw 130 pitches. You got to let him finish that game. I'm tired of all of these maximizations of efficiency that steal the sport's soul by doing silly sort of math instead of like giving a young pitcher a chance at immortality.
I mean, almost every Marlin fan reaction that I saw wanted Yuri Perez to at least have a shot at getting 6 more outs. It's why it was so weird. Like, the Marlins television guy, Kyle Sealaff, called Marlins fans brain dead.
Yeah,
who felt that way.
He did.
What?
Yeah,
brain dead.
Yeah, he apologized for it. He walked it back, but yes, he was castigating the audience in a way that was dismissive, and he then apologized.
They have a dead brain, Greg.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
What?
There you go. There's a rumor that may make the catchphrase countdown. Right, and the committee has met on this, and the reason it qualifies for the catchphrase countdown is that although that just sounds like gibberish, what it is a repeat of the word what.
Tony, you got to work on yours because it does have that.
Well, he's the master, though.
I know, but
mine's lacking the parrot.
Well, you can try to upgrade your game.
What?
Yes, it's a series of 8 was, W-H-U, followed by a what? Yes.
I'd like you guys to challenge each other here.
Okay, go ahead, Tony.
What? Oh, I see where it is. It's
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings Sports. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
The Diamondbacks come up from down 7-0 to win a game yesterday against the St. Louis Cardinals. And Jeremy makes fun of me because I'm always listening to baseball on the radio. I think it's the best way to listen to baseball, and not just because, I'm listening to a Toronto broadcast and they're having Happy Canada Day and they're just citing fans from Ontario by name. But the drawback to listening to it on the radio is that when I'm coming in this morning, the radio is still on Sports Talk. So I get in the car today and they're taking a call while they're talking about the Super Bowl, and they're talking about the World Cup, and they're talking about it in the way that Americans could understand it, which is comparing it to the Super Bowl and saying, you know what Argentina was? Argentina was what that Chiefs team was that was winning all its games 13-9 on a missed field goal, and then they get to the Super Bowl and they lose to the Eagles by 1,000,000 points. But then a caller calls in and offers this sentence, and it legitimately made me just miss the idea of callers, which is the sentence was, hey guys, I suffered a stroke in my right eye since the last time I talked to you.
So it was a first-time, long-time deal.
Evidently, yeah. And so that's what was on my radio coming in the morning, and it legitimately made me miss callers because we're not doing that around here anymore, and that seems to be quite the playground.
Rich Eisen took a call for Marty Fish during an interview, and the caller asked about you and Stugatz. Oh. He said, are you Team Le Batard or Team Stugatz? Oh.
Marty Fish,
Marty answered me.
We didn't even talk about Marty Fish and the idea that he won that Tahoe tournament again for the
Marty legitimately should be in the conversation. I'm not saying gold medal because gold medal, Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson and whatnot, and the sports are different. But when you're talking about two sport athletes, Marty Fish makes like a top 50 countdown.
So you're putting him in Bo Jackson's class and Deion Sanders' class?
I outlined that's a separate class. But if I'm doing a top 50 multi-sport athlete thing here, I think I go Marty Fish. Jack Nicklaus, you're familiar with Jack Nicklaus, right? He said that Marty Fish is the best golfer that is not a pro golfer, and he could have done that as a career.
Well, but let me ask you guys this question, and this might be playing somewhat semantics, but when I think of two sport athletes, I think of very obvious athleticism, okay? And because golf, it can be argued, is that a sport or a game, you would not be making that argument if Marty Fish was really good at darts. If he was good at darts and tennis, you would not be making the argument that he is a great two-sport athlete. So whether you agree with golf being a game or a sport, do you not associate two-sport athletes with rampant athleticism?
There has to be some type of physicality involved.
No. I mean, there is physicality in golf. You're walking the entire time, like you're not hopping on a golf cart.
It doesn't require. It requires hand-eye coordination. It requires certain things from your body.
You're right, guys. Tiger Woods is not impressive.
I'm just saying, in terms of what becomes a sport or a game, Mike, when I think of two sport athletes, I think of somebody who's who's showing off an athleticism that is not usually present in golf.
I don't disagree. That's why he's listed at number 44 on my list, right ahead of Jeff Conine.
All right, let me hear your list. Now I'm going to make you put it together on what it is that your top 44 two-sport athletes of all time, of all time are. Since we're already there, I need to hear what that list sounds like. I want to ask a question of you guys that has to do with morality. I thought of this most recently on the air when I was talking about whether it is right to have human remains in a museum, in whether it's mummy form or another form, if it's disrespectful to sort of have a human being in, a body in a place for display that is no longer with us. Did you see that a T-Rex sold the other day for an amount of money? How much would you guys pay for all of the bones of a T-Rex? Because I'm about to tell you what it sold for.
Well, if Faena had that golden structure of T-Rex stuff, was like $200 million.
Well, no. So that is it's not a T-Rex. That's a mammoth, and a mammoth is much younger. A mammoth is like an embryo compared to a T-Rex. A T-Rex is like 70 million years old.
You're familiar with the notion that the Earth is only 6,000 years old, right?
And when you're talking about selling something that is 70 million or 60 million years old, That's not something I think should be for sale. I don't think that a billionaire should be able to just buy everything and anything. And so the asking price was $51 million, and that's what it ended up selling for. Do you guys have any moral qualms with put it on the poll at Le Batard Show? Do you have any moral qualms with selling a T-Rex for $51 million?
Nah.
I don't care. I also wouldn't give you $1 for it.
Exactly.
I don't have anywhere to put that. Like I don't need the T-Rex bones. What am I gonna do with that? It's not worth $1 to me.
Well, it would be worth $1 to you if it can sell for $51 million. You're basically leaving a lottery ticket on the table if you don't take that.
We have a response from reporter Chris Cody, who says, quote, "The tweet speaks for itself," and refuses to join the Zoom.
I saw that he was in a flooding New York this weekend with his father, who fished out of a garbage can an old FedEx envelope to put over his head because he was worried that his hair was getting too wet. So he actually went into a garbage can, grabbed a FedEx envelope, and put it on his head like a hat because of how much the rain ends up bothering him. I saw that a collection of baseballs, Zaz, since you won't pay for a T-Rex.
Nah.
I don't know what you pay for other than SummerSlam tickets. What do you pay for in sports in the way of memorabilia? Because I saw that 21 baseballs signed by 21 consecutive presidents going back to Teddy Roosevelt went for more than $3 million. What is your most prized form or expensive form of memorabilia?
I like autographed pictures, for my favorite teams, Panthers and Heat. I like that kind of deal. But my most prized possession, it was actually a bar mitzvah gift. So it's 32 years ago. I got a pair of game-worn autographed Glenn Rice sneakers. Those are my absolute favorite.
What size?
Oh, I don't know. They're big. They're really big, though.
Really big, like 13?
I think bigger, maybe.
I was going to say, if they're 13, let me get them.
Nope.
I'll pay you.
Those are my no. It's priceless.
It's not priceless.
It's
I
priceless.
can get you to give them to me.
Nope. If
10 grand.
If my house were on fire, I grab them and I make sure that they survive the house fire.
20 grand.
No, I'm not selling it to you. Stop naming Fugazi money.
50 grand.
You don't even have 50 grand.
The thing that Zaz is saying, I think, is something that would only come out of his mouth in the history of human sports consumption, which is, I don't believe that anyone else on earth is saying that their most prized possession is a pair of game-worn Glenn Rice sneakers. I don't believe
So good.
I don't believe anyone else listening to this.
Nike.
This is a worldwide show. This is international. Our show's huge in the Philippines. Like, this show is something that reaches the world. I do not believe that anyone listening to this, not one person, would say that they would go back into their house and, if there were a fire, run in and just grab their game-worn Glenn Rice sneakers and run out of the house. I believe that is an exclusive Zaslow thought.
The craziest part about this is he's friends with Glenn Rice now, so he could replace them.
I mean, I don't want to replace them. I like these.
Right, but like, I'm envisioning a world where there's a fire in your home, and your first thought isn't, let me make sure that my family is aware that there's this fire. It's, let me sprint to the room.
Like, what am I going to do? I'm going to carry them out the house?
You could replace
They
these
have
sneakers.
legs. And by the way, I would actually, the reason I wouldn't, because people are probably saying, Zaslow, why aren't you grabbing your championship rings? I could easily put the rings in my pocket, all right? It's 2 rings. I could easily put them, or I would open up the ring box and I would actually put them on my fingers and run out. So that's no issue whatsoever.
That's good work by you, making sure that you can counter anyone in the audience who's saying, how can the Glenn Rice sneakers be? But would you agree with me that there's no one listening to this, not a soul, not a person listening to this, who values Glenn Rice game-worn sneakers the way that you do anywhere in the world?
Good.
But you agree with it, yes?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's prized possession, unless they're in Glenn's family, of course.
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't
really?
think even in his family. I believe they're saying Dad's old sneakers can burn.
No, that's my favorite item. I love it.
We're going to have Chris Whittingham on with us, and Pat Riley's going to join us at the end of the show today. Is there anything that you guys want to know from Pat Riley? Because one of the things that happens to me that becomes something of a conundrum anytime we talk to Pat Riley around here, always want to talk to Pat Riley because he's a library about the entirety of his career, right? It's fairly absurd, some of the things I'm about to say right now. Go ahead and try to think of all of the executives throughout sports that you think are older than Pat Riley, because nationally and internationally, there are not going to be many people who have been at this for 6 decades. He's been to the finals 19 times. He was teammates with Wilt. He played against Bill Russell. He obviously, you can tell era by era the entire story of the league, right? It's Magic, Kareem, it's Bird, it's MJ, it's Shaq, it's Wade, it's LeBron. The entire story, Wilt and Russell, the entire story of the league could be told through this man. And sometimes I feel like I'm wasting his time if I'm asking about the micro minutia of the day. But I don't actually think that anyone in our audience wants to hear about the past right now. They'd rather hear him give non-answers, because you're not. What do you think he's going to say to is LeBron coming here? Like you think yes, yeah, or no, I've lost him. I blew it. Like. He's not going to say what you want him to say, and so I feel a bit like it's a waste of time to ask him that stuff, but I feel like I have a responsibility to the audience to ask him that stuff. And the reason I ask you the questions is, okay, and this is a little darker, right? But because my wife's father died suddenly, and because I've been having some conversations around that grief with her, about the suddenness of, you never know when a last conversation with somebody is going to be. For 30 years, legitimately 30 years, Pat Riley has done my job for me. I ask the question, and what comes out next, whatever it is, always helps me write columns, helps me do magazine stories, helps me write some stories. Some of the best stuff I've written is with Pat Riley, because he volunteers the idea of, when we lost to the Knicks, I'm weeping at my desk and Alonzo Mourning has to grab me by the back of the shirt and tell me to go talk to my damn team, do my damn job, because he volunteers the parts that make the storytelling good. But I don't think it's what the audience wants today. I think they want the gratuitous questions that aren't going to get the kinds of answers they want just so that they're being asked. And I ask you, what's the point of that?
Yeah, they want you to sit down with Riley and find out some kind of tea leaf about what's happening with LeBron. You're talking to Pat Riley today. They want to hear about LeBron, which is a little bit of a disservice to Giannis, because they just introduced Giannis last week, and that's really what this summer has been about. It's been about acquiring Giannis.
But even that's small compared to the lineage I just gave you. Giannis pales, all those names I just gave you, Wilt, Bill Russell, LeBron, Shaq, Bird, Magic. As great as Giannis is, he does not belong. Maybe he does.
He's right behind those guys.
He's awfully close, but one championship, he's awfully close in terms of just talent and greatness. But the thing about this trade to me, even though I know everyone in town loves it and I understand why they love it, this is the most desperate act I've ever seen from him. It is so all or nothing. This risks for the first time the team being terrible after Pat Riley is gone. He's never done that before. He's trading 7 years of investments. It's not just that it's 7 first-round picks or the equivalent. It's everything he's cared about investing in over the last 7 years is going to Milwaukee, because you go back to Tyler Hero and you go back to the recent first-round picks. This is everything the Miami Heat have been building for 7 years. They've sent it all away in an act of desperation that is very much win now before Pat Riley's mortality window and career window close. It's a desperate act. It's an all-or-nothing act. You do not refute this, correct?
But isn't this why he acquired all of it? This was always the plan.
Yes, it was always the plan, but the difference right now between all of the other getaway plans is you weren't chasing Giannis 2.0 in San Antonio with a version of it that's 9 years older. That's not what you were doing. You're not trading everything so that I put both rosters, whatever the Heat's roster is at the end, and I say, it's going up against San Antonio this entire season. You like your chances? Pat Riley likes his chances because Pat Riley's always going to bet on Pat Riley. But do you like the chances when I say 9 years older, all the miles in the world on that body, and you're going after Giannis 2.0 in San Antonio with a version of it that's not quite as good? One of them's going to get better. One of them's not. The one that's going to get better is the one that's 9 years younger. We can agree on that, right? Wemby's not as good as he's going to be.
Correct.
Giannis is as good as he's going to be and might not already be as good as what that is in San Antonio.
Well, so you're not giving the coach any credit to be able to do something with Giannis that hasn't been done yet?
I will have to, but that's the bet they're making. I trust this organization that way, but that trust has dissipated over the last 5 years because I've never heard it this loud around Riley. This is the loudest it's ever been. This is the most ageist it's ever been. That the analysis from you guys and others is, do we even want Riley talking to LeBron? Is he going to figure out how the voice memo works? Like that's what our analysis is around here.
I mean, he insinuated that he thinks there's a world where Giannis hasn't even reached his peak yet because of his trust in Eric Spoelstra. That's what he said at the press conference, is like, this is a guy who has reached the heights of his career. He's in his prime and maybe even hasn't been the best he's going to be. Like, I believe last season, and Tony, you could tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe he was number 1 in the league in points per 36. Like, when he was out there, he was spectacular.
There is no questioning that. And before that, the 7 years before that, he finished in the top 4 in MVP voting. But this is win now, right now. It's an act of desperation. And I don't even say that as a pejorative. You guys understand what I'm saying, right? There's what you risk if Giannis gets hurt in a sport that's breaking its players. You're going to be terrible for 10 years after that.
Sure, okay. But the bet you're making is I'm going to go out and be desperate, right? Pat Riley says it's either winning or it's misery. That means it's either desperation or you're losing. So, like, you have to go out and make desperate moves to get guys that are, 7 years in a row that he was top 4 in MVP voting? Like, that's the desperation move. You go get a superstar.
You do understand what I'm saying, though, Zaz, when I say it's not just merely that they're trading the last 7 years of investment. They're also trading pieces of the future for right now, this minute. And the betting odds, or the market price, on what it is that's happening with LeBron James suggests that that's another piece that's going to be down here too. You say it's unfair to Giannis to make this conversation about LeBron. The offseason's going to feel like a success either way, but it's going to feel like a success with the Miami Heat going fairly dramatically from the first young team that Pat Riley has ever had to Pat Riley going right back to, I trust old players and only old players. I don't want guys in their 20s. I want to face the teams like San Antonio and OKC who have players in their 20s and have depth when the whole thing has changed, Zaz. Like among the most amazing things Pat Riley has done over 6 decades is continually reinvent himself. He used to go for the inefficient shot in the post with the tallest player who was being guarded, and the whole game has changed around him. One of the things that has now changed is the sport is actively breaking its players. All of the teams are going for depth. Jaylen Brown just got traded because all of the teams that passed you are going for depth. They're not building like this. This is not the way that people are building anymore. This is the way Pat Riley is building, going up against, I say it again, a model in San Antonio that is younger, stronger, bigger, faster than the 9-year-old model of Giannis that Miami presently has.
Yeah, like, I obviously agree that you have to have depth in the league, but all those teams that have the depth, they also have these superstar players. So what's the point in having the depth if you don't have the superstar? And Pat said, hey, let's do the hard part. Let's get the superstar. And then we, like, the plan is to have Giannis. If they get LeBron, the plan for LeBron is a year or two. The plan with Giannis is the rest of his career. Like, the plan isn't let's make sure we win this year with Giannis. It's we're going to have him the rest of his career. Let's win as many times as we can before then.
Just be clear on this is Pat Riley pushing all of his chips to the table for one last big shot in Miami.
Absolutely. And you look at what the Knicks just did, right? They got a lot of veteran pieces together. They don't have a lot of young 20s guys like the Spurs did. You saw the plethora of mistakes that the Spurs had in and out of those finals where the Knicks, they were down, but they continued, meticulously. All right, boom, 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 come back. And if you want to build a team that has a superstar and depth, you're going to have older guys that have been there and done that and know what to do.
With the older guys, it worked for them. With the younger guys with OKC, they broke down. It's the luck of the draw. It's not always about age. It's about having the best player and hoping that the experience that you have around them leads you to where you need to be.
Oh, but it's not quite luck of the draw. We're all playing probabilities here, and older players are more likely to get injured than younger players. That's just a I feel like I could say that empirically and factually, that if you had to guess who's more likely to get hurt, young player or old player, and you're playing all of the probabilities, old player's the answer to that question.
Tyler Hero's 26 years old, and he's missed a million games over the course of his career, and Giannis is a guy who's been durable.
So you're disputing what I'm saying? You're saying it's totally
It
random.
depends on the guy.
No. If I'm playing blackjack, the cards are all coming out. What are the probabilities? Yes, it depends on the guy per person, but what I'm asking you is, what's more probable? It's not luck of the draw. What do you think is more probable? Giannis getting hurt or Wemby getting hurt? Which one's more probable?
They're both kind of even. I'd say even odds on those because Wemby's been hurt a lot in his career.
Right.
But if you look at the way that the game is pacing, younger guys are having these traumatic injuries.
Yep.
Jason Tatum with an Achilles. Tyrese Halliburton, if it wasn't for him tearing his Achilles.
You guys are
in Game 7,
disputing
they
what
might
I'm
win.
saying, that a guy who's been injured before who is older is more likely to get hurt than a young player who hasn't. You're disputing this.
I don't think that it's blackjack. I don't think it's as simple
It's
as what you're saying.
probabilities.
Yeah, but the probabilities are based off of the player that you're acquiring. Giannis Antetokounmpo individually was hurt last year and missed significant time for the very first time in his career. If you look at Wemby, he's missed multiple games throughout his career in every season he's played. You look at Tyler Hero, for example, a guy who constantly misses time. This isn't black and white, games played equals whatever. For that matter, Giannis, the reason he's had the type of success he has in terms of durability is because, unlike Jason Tatum, unlike Tyrese Halliburton, he wasn't built in a lab exercising the same muscles over and over and over again from the time he was 12 years old. There's a Tommy John epidemic happening in basketball with these Achilles because of these young guys and the way that they train, not because of the older ones. They're the more durable ones. James Harden, LeBron, all of these guys.
Chris Cody is shaking his head. Evidently, he's frustrated that he keeps going in and out of tunnels on a bus, and I don't know if he's ready or not. We will see if his sound is okay.
Ready. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
What are you frustrated about? What are you shaking your head about angrily? That we've taken so long to get to you?
I'm approaching a tunnel. That's it. I'm worried about internet, and I think I got some good stuff for you, and I want to miss it.
Well, what were you doing yesterday? Why did you send that tweet out? You're claiming we've got all sorts of people calling us, and now the market price has evidently changed because you've moved the needle on what the odds are, what the probabilities are. Why did you tweet that out yesterday?
I sit by my tweet. I'm hearing things. Like, am I not allowed to hear things? Should I not? Like, I thought we're in a clicks business. Like, when I hear things, I work for our show. It's my duty to let the people know I'm hearing things.
Yo, why is that seatbelt so tight around your neck?
My bad. I'm just, trying to be safe.
Tony is claiming you're on a gummy and that the glasses are hiding that you're on a gummy. You cannot be trusted here. You are not reputable, and you've got a credibility issue.
We'll see today.
Okay, so
Not about the gummy part. We know about the gummy part.
I know my guy. I heard the couple first sentences and I was like, ooh.
So wait, so you're
It's early. It's early. We've been going hard at night, so we slept in a little bit. Like, I'm just out of bed here.
all right. So you're sitting by your tweet though, and you're saying that tonight. What kind of nerves do you have? You're sitting by your tweet that LeBron is going to announce tonight that he is going to Miami. You're sitting by that tweet.
I sit firmly by it, and I've been hearing better things even since the things I was hearing yesterday.
Yo, why is your face off to the side of the camera? Why aren't you in the center?
I'm in an Uber with my daughter and my family, and I'm not trying to
why would I want the window to be 3/4 of the frame?
I thought that actually was a good shot. I was showing New York. Would you like me to get center frame? Here we go.
No, I don't know why Zaz is critiquing just how you're doing this when you're breaking news that no one else has, and you seem to be very confident, unusually confident. You're not usually this confident about anything.
Let's remember, just the last thing I got out there with the report on, I believe, was that the Dolphins were going to play the Bengals in Spain, and that never happened. They ended up playing the Commanders, I believe.
Well, what is the point that you're?
My point is that I believe the last one of these I did, I was wrong.
Okay, but so you're doing this. I don't. Are you afraid as you do this? Are you doing it for attention? Are you doing it because you're sure you're going to be right? I was saying before you came on that the last time Stephen A. and I did this, both of us swore, no, this is too scary. We're never doing this again. And here you go boldly and face first into these waters.
I mean, this is just fun for me. Like, this is good for business.
I hate you.
All right, so you don't care. You don't care whether you're right or wrong. You don't care about the credibility. It's good for business because what's business? Just getting attention?
I know what I heard, so I can't be wrong.
No, you can be wrong because your source can be wrong, and you're only good as your sources, and you don't have any sources.
Well, there you go. That guy could be wrong, or no, or woman. That guy or woman could be wrong.
So you're just filing this under, you didn't even vet it with a second source. You're just filing this under, I heard it somewhere?
I would say I've heard it from, I don't know what a source is.
Okay, get out of here. Get him out of here. That's it. I can't do this anymore with him. He's trafficking on, I don't know.
You seem pretty high.
I don't know what a source is.
You seem pretty high to me. And quite honestly, that was regrettable. I think our credibility did take a hit. It seems like he only took his information from one source too. Chris, did you not adhere to 3 sources?
No, I'm kidding. I've heard this from guys. I sit by my source.
Yeah, you said that already. Yeah.
You don't feel comfortable enough to stand by it, but you're just comfortably sitting by your source.
Well, I'm sitting right now. I don't want to be. I'm in the truth business.
All right, I said get him out of here. I don't know why we asked him a follow-up question.
I'm in the truth business.
Get back to your list of top 44 two-sport athletes of all time.
It's almost done.
Okay, keep working on that. Chris Whittingham is going to join us here in a little bit to talk a little bit about the important soccer game that was played yesterday. I imagine some people would like to hear Chris Whittingham's thoughts and some more thoughts from around here, but I do want to tie up this loose end because I thought I was just saying, Zaz, and I don't know which side you are on here, but you've got Jeremy saying that injuries are 100% random. And I have known as a truth my entire life in sports, the person who starts to get hurt is more probable to get hurt after that once other parts of the body start breaking down to compensate for a body part that is not working right. That is what happened to Kevin Durant when he fell apart and all of a sudden Kawhi Leonard is winning a title because when I just think I thought it was a fact. Older players more probable to get hurt. Previous players more probable to get hurt. Yes, of course you can have outliers, of course. But that doesn't mean that you're not playing probabilities when it comes to injury.
Yeah, but the question is, has Giannis started to get hurt or did he just get hurt this past season? Because otherwise, for the rest of his career, he's been pretty durable. I think this year we could get an answer to that, but I'm willing to believe that he got hurt, and he's not starting to get hurt.
He got hurt, and also how hurt was he, right? He was
he
trying
wanted to come back at the end of the season,
He wanted to come
apparently.
back. The Bucks were like, no, we don't know. And then he was like, all right, I'm not going to play it, but I want to play it. So it's like, how hurt was he? Was he trying to, make a point to the Bucks to try and do stuff? Like, who knows?
Right. Before this year, only, what are we talking, once in his career has he missed 20 games. That's a durable player, So I want to see. He may have just gotten hurt this past year.
I am looking at this from the perspective of what I said earlier in terms of this Tommy John thing. This Achilles issue has been an issue with some older players, but primarily with the younger players in the league because of the way that they're raised and the way that they're playing year-round. This is not dissimilar from the Tommy John issue that we had in Major League Baseball with guys chasing velocity and seeing way more younger pitchers than older pitchers in the last decade going through this. It is a fact that multiple of these Achilles injuries we've seen have been with some of the youngest, highest usage players in the league, and you have all sorts of guys that we talked about older in the league, DeMar DeRozan and James Harden and LeBron, all of these players who have been nothing but durable for the majority of their careers because of the way that they trained before.
I think I have this right when it comes, though, to what is a fact and what is not a fact. I believe it is also a fact when you mention Tommy John surgery that once you've had it, you're less likely to have it a second time. It's happened to Drew Rasmussen's and others, but it's a probability that if you've already had it, you're not going to have it again. So I don't have to argue there when it comes to pitchers that an old pitcher is more likely to get hurt than a young pitcher there because of the medicine and because of the science and because of how everything is advanced. We're almost now, I feel like I have this right when I say organizations almost want you to get the Tommy John surgery out of the way early in your career so that they don't have to risk it when the investment is larger later because it's just a completely unnatural act to throw a baseball that hard without your body breaking down over time.
What happens if we find out this afternoon LeBron is coming to Miami?
Well, this is an interesting thing because he's sitting here reporting this with not a care in the world, and I feel like fear should rise up on him later, but he doesn't seem to care whatsoever if he's wrong or not later. And to his credit, in the modern age, he might have something right here journalistically. Nobody cares about yesterday more than social media. Like, social media is not about yesterday. So whatever you reported yesterday, people will move on if he's wrong, but I think he's going to get dunked on by the internet if we come into work tomorrow morning and he's got this wrong after reporting that LeBron is going to be in Miami later tonight.
Really, you think so? Because Zaz on Friday said that LeBron was going to go out and post World Cup was going to make an announcement on Sunday. I forgot about it until just now.
Okay, that is true. But that was more just a hunch that it was going to be Sunday night, but with more thought toward the timing, it actually makes more sense that he would announce it Monday night because then, like Sunday night, yes, the World Cup's over, but we're still going to react to what happened in the World Cup today. If he announces it tonight, we're done with the World Cup. Like that's really when it's over. So I think tonight's in play too.
We have done so much work as a show over the last few weeks since Giannis ended up here to come to the middle and meet each other in a great place and re-engage with Heat Twitter and Heat fandom and bring all of those people back to what we're doing, understanding fair analysis, understanding biased analysis, really finding a way for Mike and I to meet somewhere in the middle. And now Chris is throwing out there into the ether as a member of this show this tweet as everyone was finally starting to believe nationally that LeBron might end up in Miami. If this doesn't happen, he's ruined everything.
I don't know how he's so relaxed about this, and he runs the risk. This is the glorious time. Maybe this is why he's relaxed. It's the gummy, but beyond that, it's also the fact that he has 12 hours to soak in. Oh, I did something that makes me the center of attention. I am my dad's boy. I love being the center of attention. I learned it from you, Dad. I learned it from you. We are going to talk to Chris Whittingham in a little while here, in about 10 minutes or so, about everything that happened in the World Cup final and the World Cup in general. Mbappe wins the Golden Boot. That England-France game was great. I'd sign up, incidentally, for all of the World Cup being what that ridiculous England-France game was, where neither of them clearly cared about anything other than let's just screw around out here. This is going to feel like a friendly, and you're going to have the absurd score of 6-4 in a soccer game, which is the equivalent of 100-84 in American football.
What do you make of earlier this morning, Patrick Beverley tweeting out?
What did he say?
I'll out. Patrick Beverley tweeting out, rumor has it, Braun making his decision today. Like, is he just...
What if he saw from Chris?
Right, is he just piggybacking Chris?
So now it's a game of telephone? Does anyone listening to this, given that we don't play those kinds of games anymore, know what the game telephone is?
Oh, great game.
But wait a minute. Do you think that put it on the poll at Le Batard Show, do you know what the game telephone is? Yes or no? I haven't heard it referenced in a long time. What is your best guess? Do you believe this generation of young people addicted to the internet, using their phones as computers and no idea what a payphone or a landline is?
I mean, let's just ask Tony. Does Tony know what it is?
Do they know?
I know the game telephone. The thing is, you'd have to actually tell kids what a telephone is because they don't have telephones.
Tony is not a young person. He is
iPhones.
the age of Lamine Yamal's father. Like that, he is not a young person anymore. Your thoughts, though, before we get into the meat and the analysis with Chris Whittingham on just the halftime show yesterday. That's the first time the World Cup has ever done that. It was pretty distinctly, let's export America to the world here. I mean, they did the Korean boy band thing, but other than that, and they did Shakira as well, but they...
That I liked.
Good song.
What didn't you like?
I mean, trotting Madonna out there, I don't know what the hell she was doing. And immediately with the lip syncing, it's like you lost me. You lost me with all the lip syncing. And then what's this boy band KBS? What's their name? What are they
really?
called?
You don't know? Yeah, this is is this
the Korean baseball league?
I have no idea who that is.
There's BTS.
Isn't this
BTS?
this is the biggest band in the world?
That's right.
Get out of here. Not bigger than Pearl Jam.
Zaz, that's the biggest band in the world. Like that show, if they paid the artists, I don't think they paid the artists. I think it's just like the Super Bowl. The artists don't get paid. You just get a sort of a production budget to make the show what you will of it. You got Justin Bieber. You got Shakira.
Boy, Bieber, bringing down the mood, huh? Can you play something a little bit more upbeat? We're trying to have some fun out here.
Acoustic guitar was like, okay.
I mean, slowing it down to a crawl.
You got Madonna. It's a giant show. Like it is a show worthy of the world.
Give me 15 minutes of Shakira. You don't need anything else. The rest of it, nonsense.
I didn't need Kermit and Miss Piggy.
What happened there? Do you guys believe Jack White bailed at the last minute because they told him he had to lip sync? Like, why?
I don't think they offered him. Yeah.
But why would you play his song and not offer him? Like, what are you doing?
That's what the Muppets are for.
But why would you not just invite him if you're doing a star-studded thing meant to, export America to the world?
Muppets may be cheaper than Jack White to get him onto the stage.
They're all cheap. They don't have to pay for anything.
It's not. I have big news. I've completed my list of top 50
He's been
multi-sport
diligently
athletes.
working back here.
I know. I haven't heard him talk for 2 hours. He was crestfallen when I made him do it, because he knew it was going to take time. You now have 18 seconds to do the entire list. Do you want to do it? No, we'll do it with Chris Whittingham, and we'll do it. We'll do it next.
I don't know what a source is.
You got to start off a little higher.
It's a Cody thing. The Codys can do it.
Can you do it?
Can you do it? Let me see. That's more chicken. That's chicken than
Do
pig.
it again. Let me hear you.
That was a bub sound.
I was trying to show off. Go ahead,
Yeah,
do
you
it.
got to go. Better. That's my boy.
By the way, I've gotten Scott McCullough's number. I'm going to text him.
All right. Well, no, just call him. Let's
Call him.
Let's
I haven't talked to this guy in 15 years.
Just say it's Chris Cody.
Oh, just okay. Yeah, this is a
No,
normal
I
thing to
want to hear. I want him to pick up the phone and go, Scott.
My dad
you doing?
confused you with the Marlins manager.
Chris Cody. Do it on speaker right here.
Let's do the whole thing.
Hey, it's Chris Cody.
And we'll let him know he's on air.
Yes,
We're old friends.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Just, hey, this is Chris Cody. Call me back.
These are the dangers of doing some of these things live.
Hi, if you record your name and reason for calling, I'll see if this person is available.
Oh,
Give him the reason. Give him a long
Chris
reason.
Cody calling about the Miami Marlins.
Scott's going to hear that and go, what?
Please stay on the line. So we'll see if we get through.
I would have liked it more.
Holding music.
He's going to be like, Chris Cody and the Marlins. How's Beth?
Just go right into the question.
Why? Hey, it's Chris.
okay. It's all right. It's all right.
I'm sorry, this person is not available.
Chris, hold on. Hang up, and now call back, and make the explanation more detailed.
Okay.
What would you have done if you had your pitcher with 6 outs left in a perfect game?
Yes. Give him.
Hi, if you record your name and reason for calling, I'll see if this person is
Chris again.
available.
Hey, it's Chris again. I'm calling because my dad referenced Clayton McCullough. He said Scott McCullough. He meant Clayton McCullough. He said Scott McCullough. He's talking about the Marlins. We want to know if you would have done the same thing as Clayton McCullough with this big Marlins controversy on Sunday. Call me back.
Thanks. Please stay on the line.
You're welcome. Love hold music.
Put it on the poll, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Do you love hold music? It's the first time I've heard anybody say that.
I'm sorry, this person is not available.
He's a busy man.
Hey, make sure you're not late. It's time for Zaslow's World Cuck Update.
I mean, I don't know what that was. Trying to do a World Cup update. What the hell are you doing there? I do have a few more things I want to say, Dan, as far as the World Cup is concerned. Now, because yesterday was the final round of 16 game. You know what comes next? You know what's next after round of 16?
I cannot believe how electric this World Cup has been.
It really has
So
been.
good.
All the we finally have the good matches that give life to this being one of the greatest tournaments of all time. We were missing those bangers. And Argentina in back-to-back matches give us instant classic after instant
The
classic.
Cabo Verde game was insane.
Against all-time African underdogs. They run up against the greatest player at the tail end of his career, still having enough for one last
Mike,
job.
let me tell you what, that 13 on Cabo, what a shot.
This is
Shot of the
incredible.
tournament.
Oh,
Did you see it
world-
bend?
And how about those fans?
Did you see
It
it
was
bend,
a
Dan?
literal movie.
It was crazy.
He runs into the sand,
Gets
finds
over.
his lady.
Boom.
That's how you end the movie, folks. That is
He was looking, and
unbelievable.
the security was like, no, go back. And he's
That's
like, no,
love.
no, where is she?
That's love right there.
She's got to know also to come down the stairs. What are you doing?
I'm the one who's doing this.
Your second topic, Zaz. Do you have another World Cup topic?
Well, I'll tell you what. All right, I don't know why you're saying it like that. But anyway, I have other things that I want to talk about. You know what? You can't take this away from me. I don't know if you saw this past Monday night.
CM Punk returns to WWE. After months away and all sorts of rumor and innuendo, he's not on the right side with TKO, comes back in his hometown of Chicago and beats Sami Zayn, whose title reign lasts about a week. Much fanfare in Chicago.
CM Punk related to Daft Punk at all?
No, not at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but CM
Daft Punk's good, though.
Not unlike Messi, later in his career, finding top
gets
form,
to talk about this
his
instead
body
of me?
looking incredible.
Hit
You know what
that
this might
guy.
set up? Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk at SummerSlam.
Greg Cody Rhodes.
I'm
Hello.
going to SummerSlam. I want
There
to
you
talk
go.
about this.
Well done, Jeremy.
Your third topic,
gotten
Zaslow,
the
of
laugh.
this World Cup update.
You know what? Actually, I'll allow you to call it that here because there's a movie that just came out that I want to watch. It's by our pal Billy Corbin. It's called God
That's
Forbid.
not just coming out. It's
5
the
years
most
ago.
popular documentary in the history
It
of Hulu.
just came out.
No, I mean,
Dan,
it was
you saw
several
the movie.
years
What did
ago.
you think?
It was excellent. It
Yeah,
was,
why don't you have a turn here?
It went.
You got a pre-screening?
It went deeper into religious power and cuckery than I've ever seen a documentary. I didn't get an advanced
How
screening.
cliche, a pool boy.
This movie, and distinctly Cuban pool boy, like just not actually a pool man, a very pool boy, a Cuban kid who's not fully grown up, who was having sex with the wife of Jerry Falwell's sons,
Spoiler
the
alert.
president of Liberty University, his
hearing you
wife,
talk-
and he liked to
sitting
watch it
watching you
in a
talk about
corner
this.
of
These are
the
my
room
topics.
while he was wearing very little clothing.
This is why it's called World Cup.
All right, get back in this seat here. Get back in the seat here that is a prominently featured seat. That concludes our first ever World Cup update. Excellent work by you. Zaz, what was your reaction to seeing Dave Hyde say that he had been laid off by the Sun Sentinel?
I guess not surprised, but didn't like it. I think Dave Hyde's fantastic. He'd been really good to me over the years, and yeah, I guess it's disappointing, but not surprising, right?
Am I led to think that Greg Cody's secretly happy about Dave Hyde? Chris Whittingham, our old friend, is going to be here with us in moments.
Chris Whittingham is a fancy lad.
I don't want to disrespect his time. Chris Cody was hot. He was bothered by having to wait. So I will not go through Mike's entire top 50 list of top 50 two-sport athletes of all time, but just take us up to Marty Fish. So go ahead and get started with number 50.
Number 50, Michael Jordan. Yeah, he tried baseball. He's also a solid golfer and famously decent at basketball. Number 49, Jared Allen. Sack artist and tried for curling.
Oh, I thought he was in rodeo, wasn't he? Or wasn't he? Wasn't
Yeah,
he calf
long
roping
time.
or something like
his,
that?
yeah, that was part of his celebration.
Yeah.
Number 48, Eddie Alvarez. Number 47, Steph Curry. Really good golfer. Number 46, Dan Cortez. Yeah, he was good at everything in rock and jock. Number 45, as promised, Jeff Conine.
Really good at racquetball.
Yeah, number 44, Marty Fish.
All right. We will get the remainder of this list and ask you what it is that you just put on the top of your hat in a second. Chris Whittingham with us. He does MLS games on Apple TV. He does Champions League and Serie A on Paramount Plus. He is smiling right now because we did an homage there to Robbie Williams. What are your thoughts there, Whittingham? Do you believe that, yes or no, that was cocaine?
It's pretty hard to argue it being anything else, right?
I just can't believe that would be right. Like, yes, it's hard to argue that it would be anything else, but I can't believe that would be right. But your betting odds, your market price is that it is cocaine.
I mean, if what else could fall out of one's nose like that?
Well, it was his
I don't know
mouth,
anything.
though. We already did the telestrator.
Oh.
It was his mouth that it fell
Oh,
out
it
of.
was his mouth.
And now
So-
Tony
so
and Mike
was
are
it a
telling
light
me
piece
you're.
of gum then, or a zin maybe? The zins are
No
big. I
zin.
know
No
nothing
zin
about
is going to
zins,
break up
though.
like that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about zins. I've never used them before. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't.
That tracks.
I don't know. In the mouth though, maybe that makes it unlikely to be cocaine if it's in the mouth. That seems impossible,
Noted
right?
Coke expert, Chris Whittingham.
So there were a lot of goals scored in this tournament. 104 games, 308 goals. That's the highest scoring tournament since 1970. Nobody can have any complaints about anything except perhaps the punctuation. Whittingham, your thoughts on the punctuation?
Yeah, the punctuation wasn't very good, was it? And I think that is a little bit disappointing. I think there were a lot of people that would have checked out this final just because, oh, it's this big thing and there are a whole bunch of watch parties and let's go watch the final. But it was not indicative of the tournament, as you're saying. And I think Argentina really by themselves really sullied the entire occasion, both in terms of their complete inability to attack, but also their shithousery, for lack of a better word. They just brought a level of tackle and elbow and really no desire to play football whatsoever that made this final incredibly dull for large portions of it. Spain were dominating the entire time and they just weren't able to turn it into clear goal scoring chances. But I was surprised by the lack of a response from Argentina in any real way until the 116th, 117th minute of the game. To go so long without playing, I thought was incredibly embarrassing from them, if I'm being honest.
It was embarrassing. The desperation didn't really play out on the field with their play. The desperation was in what Messi did, trying to get Cucurella sent off for covering his mouth briefly. That was as bad a look on a pitch as I've ever seen from Messi. Was that just desperation, them knowing that was their only way back into that match?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it worked earlier in the tournament. I guess if you're looking for every possible advantage, the very famous now call from the referee, number 10 covers his mouth. Final decision is red card. Because it worked earlier and it was very much a tattling situation, you are desperate at that point. And I think Messi definitely is observant. He is also a frequent violator of the covering his mouth, but it usually is in contexts that are better than that. But yeah, I thought that was bizarre. It was indicative of a performance from him in which he did nothing. And I think that's another big disappointment. If you were to tell your friends, hey, watch this final, Messi's playing, and you watch that, you're like, wait, What exactly does he do? What is he good at? Because he did nothing for the vast majority of the game, and he was unable to arrest the slide. And yeah, it was fairly desperate and fairly pathetic when it was just, 2 fingers over his mouth. To try and get a man sent off for that was pretty poor.
So the shithousery, though, that Argentina, the dark arts that they turn to, it's often celebrated when they're successful, but when they're absolutely choked out of a match the way that they were by Spain, things like Enzo Fernandez's tackle. Kubarsi, by the way, is not a small dude. He's 6'1". Like that's not a flop there. I don't know how you flop at 6'1" doing that. But
I love that you're showing the image right now. There is an argument that wasn't a yellow card when he is completely upside down in the air. I mean, how could Enzo Fernandez have possibly argued that isn't a yellow, never mind a red?
It just looks way worse when the match isn't going their way. And what Messi does so well, Chris, as you know, is he finds the spaces in a soccer match better than anybody. It's why he was basically residing exclusively on the right side against England. That's not normally where he likes to play, but if that's what the defense is giving, that's where he'll do his damage. It's not like basketball where you can call an ISO play. You got to kind of find Messi, and you're constantly scanning the field. Where is he? Because the ball's not meeting him, and that's that two-man midfield pivot from Spain doing that to him. Is it not,
Whittingham? I want to ask about that, right? Because people are killing Argentina and Messi for how boring all of that was, but Spain's undefeated in their last 38. Like, they do that to everybody.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they did it to France, if you look at their run to the final, Portugal, Belgium, France, Argentina. They did it to the best teams, and they have consistently done this to the best teams. You go back to the 2024 Euro, they did the same thing to France in the semifinal and England in the final. This is what they do, and it is incredible that it's not a team that is known for defensive ability. It is now because they give up 1 goal in the World Cup, but they're known as a team of technical operators. They're very good in possession, and yet the thing that really makes it happen is how good they are out of possession. On the rare occasion that they lose the ball, they go hunting like wolves. They go get the ball, and they make it impossible for teams to play against them. And that is the number one attribute that they have against the best teams, is that this is an identity that is formed with kids when they're 8 years old. Every kid in Spain, when they're 8 years old, learns how to play this way. And whether they make it to the pro level or they don't, they all know that on the highest level, this is how we're going to perform. This is how we're going to play. And every player who comes into that team, no matter what club they play for, what style they play for their club, they know the Spanish style. It is imbued in them. It is part of their DNA as players, and they bring it to the very highest level. So, yeah, it is about that suffocation in defense. And Messi, in some ways, I know this can kind of seem like you're trying to make excuses for him, but Messi plays in the rhythm of games. There was absolutely no rhythm for Argentina to find. So you're trying to hit a direct ball to him in transition. That's not where he thrives. He thrives in, as you say, Mike, finding spaces on the weak side when he's walking and everyone else is running and trying to figure out where the ball is. He finds a space where nobody is. There was none of that to be found yesterday for him.
Number 43, Tim Tebow.
Where are you, Whittingham, as we hyperventilate always after these things happen and try and put it in perspective? But historically, undefeated in the last 38 games, and a conversation around, is this the best defensive performance we've ever seen in a World Cup? Please put it in context. How much better is Spain than the rest of the world? Is it historically better?
Yeah, if you look at the data, both in terms of the actual on-field statistic, but also there's a figure called expected goals, which essentially measures the quality of chances that you give up. Spain had the best expected goals against figure in the history of the tournament, and that's having played a game more than anybody else who's ever played in this tournament before. They allowed, in terms of quality of chance, they would have been expected to allow 2.3 goals over the course of the tournament, which is better than anyone in the history of the sport. So yeah, it is incredible that they are this good defensively out of possession. And it just goes to show the way that they strangle games. But I think a lot of teams are probably rated more highly, both in terms of the individual quality of defender. I mean, there are German teams of the past that have all-time figures. I think the one thing that kind of you struggled to get on board with Spain being an all-time team is they don't really have, outside of Rodri in midfield, all-time players. We think maybe Pau Cubarsí can be an all-time player in the center of defense. He's awesome. He's the young player of the tournament. We think Lamine Yamal is on his way. He didn't play well at this World Cup, though. So there is kind of this feeling that, while, yes, empirically, they put in the best defensive performance in the history of the World Cup, it's going to be hard to remember these guys as all-time great legends. Unai Simon and their goalkeeper might be the third best goalkeeper on the Spanish national team. Their two backups have better club pedigrees, so it is kind of difficult to talk about them in these terms. But yeah, in terms of what they delivered, and again, in terms of the quality of opposition, they played the best teams, and they did that to them. Those teams did not have bad performances. Spain made them have bad performances. So yeah, it is right up there with the greatest defensive performance we've ever seen.
Number 42, Jackie Robinson. He played a lot of sports, and he's number 42. So,
I want to go back to Lamine Yamal for a second. You just said that he didn't have that great of a tournament. You want to go through his resume at 19? Let's go ahead and go through the accomplishments before he's gotten out of his teens. Go ahead.
Three-time La Liga champion, World Cup winner, Euros winner, finished second in the Ballon d'Or, has already played, I think, 11,000 minutes more than Messi did at this age. 11,000 minutes more than Messi did at this age. So to do all of these things is absolutely incredible. And for the most part, up until this World Cup, he was a big part of the reason why, Barcelona reached the Champions League semifinal. He was awesome. Why Barcelona have won 3 La Liga titles since he's been involved in the team. Why Spain won the Euros 2 years ago. He was brilliant in that run. This was really the first time a team has won without him being a central part of why they're winning. It is extraordinary for a player to have achieved so much in his career so young. The only worry is that he's going to burn out younger than anybody else because he's playing so much. But yeah, I thought yesterday in the game, he was fine. He had a couple of decent moments. He created a chance that probably should have resulted in a goal. There was that chipped header to the back post that could easily have gone in. But he wasn't great in this tournament. But also, to be fair to him, he was also probably not healthy coming into this tournament. He was struggling with an injury in the build-up, and he's been pushing through it, and so you have to judge him on the merits of what he delivered. But yeah, in terms of winning achievement, it is very rare to find anyone who's done this by the age of 19.
Number 41, Joe Mauer.
Whittingham, you didn't even mention 6-0 in elimination games against Mbappe and knocks out Messi and Ronaldo.
That's pretty decent.
He's in a pretty blessed spot, Chris, because he played very well in the Euro, but he didn't have to play his best match in the World Cup, and he won a World Cup. He got the hard one. That's the hardest one.
Yeah.
And he's inevitably going to play in at least 2 more World Cups. He's going to play much better in those World Cups. So from here on out, it's just legacy building. He's got a great opportunity to catch up to the GOATs.
He hasn't lost a game. Does he ever lose? Has he ever lost since he started playing in a major tournament? Yes or no?
Yeah, I mean, the Champions League is the one that he has to go get next. The semifinal that they played against Inter was a pretty bad one 2 years ago where they have the lead, and they were amazing.
I'm sorry, I meant with Spain.
with Spain. No, there's I mean, I guess last summer there was a Nations League that they didn't win, that Portugal won, but we don't really consider that right up there. It's the Euros and the World Cup. He won the Euros at 17, he won the World Cup at 19. There is literally nothing else for him to have won.
Number 40, CM Punk.
It's a little high, but yeah.
What's the other sport? I'm missing the other sport for a lot of these.
What do you mean, what's the other sport? He's also a professional wrestler.
I've been waiting as you do Joe Mauer. I think Whittingham is asking a fair question. It makes you a bit of a bleep hole that you're not offering any of the context when you just go, Jackie Robinson played a lot of sports. I think for the audience.
You're giving me tight windows.
But for the audience, you should also say just a sentence of elaboration, and Joe Mauer was also excellent at blank.
He was the number 1 quarterback recruit in the nation for Florida State, and then he ended up having a Hall of Fame baseball career. Number 39, Tom Glavine.
Hockey player. Yeah,
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So maybe you can help out a little bit, too.
Okay.
These are titans of athleticism.
I didn't know this about Joe Mauer, though. The reason I was asking.
You didn't know that Joe Mauer committed to FSU to play quarterback? Was the number 1 quarterback in the nation? No ball.
Did not know. I'm sorry.
I
don't.
You didn't know that Dan Cortez played every single rock and jock?
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Are you embarrassed that you didn't know that Joe Mauer was FSU's #1 recruit at quarterback?
Number 38, Todd Helton. He played for the Colorado Rockies as well. He was a quarterback for the Tennessee Vols.
How about Tom Glavine being picked in the NHL draft ahead of Brett Hull and Luke Robitaille?
It's pretty good. That's a pretty good stat you're giving us there, Whittingham. What were your big takeaways from the entirety of the tournament when you step back from it and just enjoy the majesty of all of it? Because I did think it went as well as could possibly be expected for the United States as a host country, with as few embarrassments as possible.
Yeah, I mean, the only two real embarrassments were the treatment of the Iran national team throughout the tournament, which was not great. And then, of course, the Flair and Balogun situation, the degree to which the administration did or didn't get involved with those decisions was pretty embarrassing, and it made the world kind of hate us. But yeah, I agree with you. Just in terms of the amount of fear that I had going in that it was going to kind of be ruined by everything that surrounded it. It was fun. Everyone loved this tournament. A lot of the number of people in my life that very rarely watch soccer that have texted me at various points going, that was amazing. Where can I watch more soccer? Where can I embrace this even more? Can I watch a Premier League team? Can I watch my local MLS team? Whatever the case may be, there was a level of embracing of this which I didn't expect, both in terms of the America towards the world's sport, but also America towards the world's communities. I mean, the number of ways in which we saw cultures meld, with people in Lawrence, Kansas loving the story of Algeria training in their city, with, South Koreans in Mexico and the Dutch Orange Army all over the place. I think it was a real festival. And there was that sense that maybe the U.S. was going to be the first country to not really provide that. That you go back to Brazil 2014 and South Africa 2010, there were some great parties all over the world. The Euros always provide great events, but that maybe the U.S. wasn't going to be capable of providing that. That was definitely the number one takeaway from me, was the number of people here that loved it and the number of people from abroad that loved it, that genuinely enjoyed taking in all that the United States has to offer, and us kind of reminding ourselves, oh yeah, there's a few things to like about this place that we live in.
Number 37, Jeff Samardzija, Chicago Cub, Notre Dame Fighting Irish wide receiver.
Chris Whittingham, he did say it like Joe Tess. True or false, Cape Verde is the second best team in the world?
Maybe the third best team in the world by transitive property. They are the only team to have not lost to either of the two teams in the final, which is, well, I guess they lost to Argentina in the end. But I mean, look, they certainly gave the best game to either of those two teams in the final. And it is kind of interesting that every great World Cup champion has a footnote somewhere in their tournament run. For Argentina 4 years ago was that they lost to Saudi Arabia in their opener, and it is extraordinary that they were the only team. And actually, watching that game yesterday, at one point I said, I think Argentina are trying to replicate the Cabo Verde formula, because all they did to Spain for 90 minutes was frustrate them, try and stop them from scoring a goal, and really not doing anything in the attack. That's all they were trying to do. And I guess in some ways, the fact that they got to 90 minutes at 0-0, it sort of worked. It just is embarrassing when you're Argentina and not the underdog that is Cabo Verde.
Well, but Cabo Verde had 6 shots in 90 minutes. Argentina had 2 in 120, like that.
Right, and they had 0 in 90. I guess in the same period of the 90 minutes, Argentina managed to hold 0. And there was that one chance that they had, I want to say it was like in the 92nd or 93rd minute of that group stage game where they could have won it. So I guess you could argue that Cabo Verde were better against Spain than Argentina were.
How do you feel about Mbappe winning the Golden Boot? How do you feel about the third place game stats counting toward history?
I don't like it. And I saw on social media, we put out a clip of me saying that, and all these people thought I was defending Messi's honor. And, only Messi's Golden Boot record. It doesn't matter. It is about the fact that game looked like an all-star game. It was fun. It was a great time to see 10 goals scored in one game, to see England deliver their best and Bukayo Saka score a hat-trick, and Jude kind of respond well from coming from behind, and sort of the difficulties that they had. We saw France kind of that not quite desperate champion feel, but that sort of oh, we're not going to embarrass ourselves. Let's go out there and score some goals. It was a fun game, but it really has no bearing on what the rest of the tournament showed. I mean, the rest of the tournament is a incredibly difficult grind, teams struggling to score, teams struggling and fighting over consequence. The third place game is not a game of consequence. It is a game that, both teams kind of said, we'll take our turns trying hard. There is no other game in the World Cup that is taking turns trying hard. Every team is trying their maximum, and what we saw in that game, like I said, was fun. If you were watching on a Saturday afternoon, it was great entertainment, but it wasn't a reflection to me of what the World Cup is. I don't think any third place game should count towards the official records of the World Cup, because now Mbappe is the all-time leading goal scorer in the history of the World Cup on the basis of two goals that were basically scored in a friendly.
Number 36, Greg Paulus.
That can't be that high.
I mean, he was a really good point guard for Duke, and he played quarterback for Syracuse, the hardest position to play in sports.
Quarterback at Syracuse?
I mean, did you watch their season this year? Frame Brown would agree.
Chris, is it unusual for the runner-up, in this case Argentina, and Messi, the best player ever, to not speak after the game?
It is incredibly rare. And I think it shows, really, we saw it after the game as well with the post-match scenes. Argentina are some bad losers, man. There are some bad losers. They cannot get out of their own way to really harm their own reputation. And it's funny because the manager did speak after the game. He said, we could have done nothing more. We were great in defeat. But, man, both in terms of what they delivered in the 120 minutes, when you do that stuff on the field, the fouling, the elbowing, the undercutting, and then you pair it with these kinds of scenes after the game where you're throwing hands in throats, where you're talking about, you guys said all this during the week. When you're engaging a team that won the World Cup, the one thing that you can possibly do in your life that as a soccer player you have dreamt of doing from the day you were born, and you're making it about, but what about us? It's not about you. It's not about you. And you have to take your lumps in defeat. You got your ass kicked in a final. Go out there and, say, you know what? We were soundly beaten by the better team. They had a great tournament. I also thought we had a great, there's so many easy things that you could say, but Argentina, for whatever reason, just cannot take their lumps in the way that all the other 46 teams that lost this tournament did.
Number 35, Shaun White, the Flying Tomato. If it has a board, he's good at it.
Whittingham, I understand when you make that criticism, but I also understand, no, man, Argentina's not going to look up and say anybody's the better team. They won the championship the last time, and 8 of the 11 starters were returning. They were frustrated because they were embarrassed by the way that game played out. It's not having a chance when you think you're the best. That's what's roiling in all of these people. The world is watching. You're embarrassed. And at that point, you go all in on the embarrassment. Like, it was simply frustration spilling over. That's how rage works.
Sure, but you're saying, they're the best team. They won it 4 years ago.
They
the
think.
Right, no,
I'm not
course.
talking about I think. They think. They're not going to acknowledge
sure.
that anyone's the better team. They were trying to play that to get that into PKs, and the game
revealed the opposite, Dan. The game revealed that they were much worse.
I know,
than
but
Spain.
self-awareness and the mirror do not help you when you're defending champion. You think a lot of athletes at the end, when they're playing for the championship in front of everybody and they're the defending champion, raise their hand and just say, yeah, they're better than we are?
Most teams do. France are able to find this. Most teams are able to find, most great athletes are able to find even false humility in defeat. And most of the times it is false. I will grant you that. And what we're asking for is false humility. But most teams are capable of summoning it. Argentina seem fundamentally incapable of doing that. They seem to be the only nation at this sport that are incapable of doing that.
San Antonio Spurs weren't capable of it. Kenny Atkinson wasn't capable of it. You're asking for a self-awareness from defending champions that just won the last 4 games because they think God is on their side.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's some ego stuff there, but what they resorted to on the field, I think, was a pretty solid admission. That they knew they weren't better. And Messi acting like a kindergartner trying to tell on Cucurella was more confirmation of that. Chris, I think FIFA got lucky here that Spain ended up getting their run of play goal, because that goal coming off the board would have been an immense scandal if Argentina ended up winning this thing. I'm glad we don't have to deal with that. What'd you make of that goal being called off the board? I know for me, I know that there's slight contact on the boot there. It didn't affect the positioning in any way. Goals were hard to come by. I don't understand how you take that goal off the board, especially in the manner that it did without an official going to a monitor, without more discussion.
What's the
there, Chris.
conversation today if somehow that goal gets taken off the board and Argentina wins in PKs?
Well, I mean, just because of the manner in which that they were outplayed, too, it would have been, oh, my God, this call decided it. I'm a little bit of the opinion that I could see why that foul was given. I also think the fact that video review doesn't get involved is an indication that the referee saw it. He saw that the defender got stepped on. I thought it was a foul. I think the video evidence kind of showed that. But it would have been, yet again, another cog in the story of Argentina always seemed to get this in their favor. There was also the offside goal, which, again, offside is not one that is up for dispute, but Spain had the ball in the back of the net. It was disallowed for offside. It was incredibly marginal. It was about a shoulder's length offside from Ferran Torres. And so, yeah, I mean, look, I understand your complaint that you didn't think that was a foul. I think reasonable people can disagree about that, but I agree with you. Even if I were an Argentina fan, I wouldn't have wanted to win in any kind of controversial way yesterday because it is just such a prevailing story. I'm amazed at the degree to which, oh, this is rigged for Argentina, is like a real consensus thing that is accepted by smart people that I know. They just say, oh yeah, it's rigged, as if like the sky is blue, as if like today is Monday. Like it is sort of a statement of fact. And I'm amazed at the degree to which that kind of content takes off on social media. If you allege even a little bit on social media that this thing is rigged in favor of Argentina, you will get numbers because people believe this. And so I'm not of the opinion that it's rigged in the favor of Argentina. I kind of found that decision to be defensible, but man, if Argentina won it in any kind of controversial way yesterday, that's all anybody would have talked about.
Number 34, Herschel Walker.
You seem to really enjoy, what was the second sport that he played? MMA? What are you doing there?
That's right.
Come on, he wasn't any good at that.
He wasn't. What, Dan?
He was 49 years old.
At an old age.
Whittingham,
Chiseled.
that's too high. Whittingham, when you say with that flourish, Ferran Torres, give me the top 5 names that you enjoyed saying. Top 5. Let's start with number.
I was going to go with Greg Hardy.
Number 5.
Poor form as of recent.
Let's start with number 5.
I'll start with Mikel Oyarzabal.
Number 4.
Ferran Torres.
Number 3.
Casemiro.
Number 2.
I'm scrolling here. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Mike, give him some more of your list so that I should have given him more time to
Number
filibuster.
33, Kyler Murray.
Oh, that's a good one. Wait a minute. How is Herschel Walker right behind Kyler Murray on this list?
Number 32, Tony Gonzalez. Number 31, Julius Peppers. And number 30, Jameis Winston.
I don't know Winston's second sport. Am I being
baseball? He was a college baseball.
Incredible closer.
You have a gaping gaping hole of knowledge when it comes to FSU baseball players, dude. That could also throw the pill.
We all do.
You just don't know ball there.
Whittingham, where are you on number 2 of names you most enjoyed saying? And would you like to retract Torres now because you found a better one?
I'll stick with it. My number 2, I'm going to go Nick Voltemada of Germany.
And number 1?
Bruno Fernandes of Portugal.
Whittingham, good seeing you. Last thoughts on the halftime show. What are your thoughts? It
was fun. It was fun. I have to be honest. This really annoys me. I saw that Wayne Rooney came out after the game, or came out at halftime and said that it was crap. I am really annoyed. Look, when things are in Europe, when things are in England, and there is creeping Americanism with it, where you have halftime shows and pregame shows and all that stuff, and it's in your territory, it's in your neck of the woods, and you want to complain about it, fair enough. When things are in America, Jack, There's going to be a halftime show. There's going to be 5 million celebrities in the crowd. There's going to be all these things because that's what we do in this country. And as long as the thing is being held in the United States, it's going to adhere to American tradition and custom. Stop criticizing things that are happening here. It's your sport. You do with it what you want when it's in your place. But here, enough. I've had enough of Europeans telling us what to do when things are held here.
Enough Europeans.
I thought it was
Enough.
woke and gay. Who are those Korean ladies?
Good seeing you, Whittingham. Thank you for making the appearance on the show. Actually, real quick before you go, what are your thoughts here on Chris Cody's tweet? He decided to do this yesterday, and it seems dangerous, irresponsible, reckless, and not credible. What are your thoughts here on Chris Cody reporting that tonight, that late afternoon, actually, today, that LeBron will make his decision to play in Miami?
At first, I thought it was a tweet from the Zaslow report, which, of course, is one of his many great social media ventures. But I kind of wonder how that came together. How did that come together, guys? Do you know? Do you have any insight?
Well, we
into
asked
the
him, and he says he doesn't know. He says he doesn't know what a source is, and he didn't get any second or third sources. And he says just flatly, "I don't know how to define what a source is."
I don't know what a source is.
Huh. I feel like it's possible. Like I don't want to put our group chat on blast, but there's someone in our group chat who also has reported in the group chat that LeBron is coming to Miami, and it's just like, did a valet, like is someone who's in charge of moving luxury vehicles? Like, there's a very Miami way that this could have come together for Chris Cody. So I don't know what his source is, but I trust him. I trust that by the end of the day, LeBron's going to be a Heat.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the time. I will tell people here that I had 7 sources on LeBron in 2010. And while one of them wasn't a valet, one of them was a restaurant owner. Like, but I needed to have 7. I wasn't going to go with just the restaurant owner. And I feel like Chris Cody went with just the restaurant owner.
I sit by my tweet. I'm hearing things.
Look, it's time that I reveal. I heard from a guy whose uncle is a chef and says that he's a chef for a former. This is 100% true. A guy who knows a guy whose uncle is a chef for a former Heat player who says LeBron's coming to Miami.
Mike, how many places in the crevices and corners of the Miami underworld that you occupy with a little bit of cocaine on the brim of your hat, how many people have come up to you and said LeBron is coming to Miami? Give me a number.
It's close to 20. And, you know, inside that 20, some of them are ridiculous, but all have conviction and all have some kind of tangential. Certainly some of the ties are a little bit closer. But if I was going to run with every Tom, Dick, and Harry that said that, well, in Miami, you don't run into Tom, Dicks, or Harrys. Well, plenty of Dicks. Yeah, definitely. Any Hoodles. This is the point that Brian Windhorst was trying to make, though. In every city, there are these cupcake shops and people that are real estate agents that swear that LeBron's coming there. However, if it happens in Miami, get ready for the douchiest victory parade from some of the worst people you'll ever meet.
Any Hoodles?
Number 29, Jimmy Graham.
Wow.
Number 28, I Show Speed.
Come on.
Zaz is your boy.
My boy.
Can I take a quibble with your list real quick? Just let me take a quibble. How is Jimmy Graham ahead of Tony Gonzalez? Like, what are you doing?
I think Jimmy Graham was a better college basketball player.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that dude ate glass.
Yeah.
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 And neck is a tight end.
And like they were only separated.
Neck and neck is a tight end, Dan.
Yeah,
look at Jimmy Graham's seasons, Dan.
No, Tony Gonzalez is better, but like in terms of the back of the, I mean, Jimmy Graham just casually started playing football, dude. Right. I think like the ease that it came to be an all-timer separates. I mean, again, they're only separated by Jameis Winston on this list. Yes, but they're both behind I Show Speed. Number 27, Kenny Lofton.
You've fallen in love with I Show Speed.
I think it's an incredible story.
You've come around on him.
No, I've always been in on him. The guy was barking at people in front of like a couple dozen Twitch streamers, and then he's playing before the World Cup. It's an incredible story. It's an incredible American story.
What was he playing?
He was playing one of his songs.
You haven't been always in on him. You've been what Zaz is presently, where you were saying to yourself, what is it about this guy? And then the first time you actually got informed, you're like, oh, I get it.
No, the first time that I put effort into like watching it and the stuff that he does, and admittedly,
What's he do?
It's not for me. It's skewed to a younger audience, but he's a master when it comes to engagement. And it's also like he doesn't have the chops. Like he puts himself out there, things that can embarrass him. I think the production when he goes on tours, it's some of the great organic content that's out there, really genuine, funny moments that come from improvisational skills. His team around him is incredible with the content. Don't
He waved
Yeah,
his hand.
I did.
No, I think when he goes on tour,
I shoot you.
he gets like Michael Jackson level reaction.
Really? He gets Michael Jackson level reaction?
Yes, he
Michael
does.
Jackson.
Yes.
The king of pop.
Yes, he does.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Michael
There's
Jackson.
Michael Jackson, and there's I Show
Yeah.
Speed. Similar response. Similar crowd
know
reactions.
ball. You don't know ball.
Michael Jackson, I Show Speed. Okay.
You sound like an embarrassing
Okay.
person. You sound old as shit. Kenny Lofton played for Lute Olson's Arizona Wildcats. He was really good. Number 26, Patrick Mahomes. The bloodline. He is the most talented quarterback we've ever seen, and if he wanted to play pro baseball, it's in his genes. I bet you he could. Number 25, I'm an ally, Ronda Rousey. She also did some MMA. Number 24, Mickey McCarty. Was drafted by 3 professional sports leagues.
Did you just make Mahomes high on this list because his dad was a baseball player?
Yeah, well, I'm sure he could have and been really good at it. Number 23.
So you put that ahead of Kyler Murray, who actually got a great deal of money for playing baseball. You don't even know if Mahomes played baseball.
Number 23, Anthony Kaladiu. Oh, stop. I mean, I'm selling you short, pal. As you know, tried out for the Miami Heat. Tried out for how good do you have to be considered to play college quarterback without being able to throw a football? You had to throw an imaginary one.
So bothered by Jimmy Graham being ahead of Tony Gonzalez.
Come on, Dan.
Number 22, Rebecca Romero. I'm an ally, dude. Cyclist, multiple Olympic sports, learn ball. Number 21, Truus Klapvik. Swimming, fencing, Olympic glory. Number 20, Dave Logan. Drafted in 3 American professional sports. Number 19, Vanetta Flowers. Track and field and bobsled. Go on, girl. Number 18, Clara Hughes. Cyclist, speed skater. Number 17, Sheila Tormina.
Why you say it like that?
Swimming, triathlon, modern pentathlon. And number 16, people, when you talk about the grade 2 sport athletes, you need to talk about Babe Didrikson Zahiris. 2 golds and 10, count them, 10 LPGA championships.
She's truly great.
And was nicknamed Babe back in the 40s. Not at all sexist.
By Babe Ruth. No, Babe Ruth gave her that nickname.
I said not at all sexist.
Truly.
Number 15, Travis Pastrana. Great extreme sports star, doing incredible things in motorsports. Number 14, Danny Ainge. Number 13, Brian Jordan. Number 12, Dave Winfield Flyrule. Drafted in 4 major sports. Number 11, Jackie Joyner-Kersee. She would have been in the W if the W were around. Number 10, Charlie Ward. Now, Dan, you seem to have a gaping hole in knowledge when it comes to dual sport athletes that went to Florida State. Rest assured, Charlie Ward won a Heisman before he got thrown into the sands by P.J. Brown. Number 9, John Elway. Number 8, you heard of Jim Brown? Number 7, Lauren Williams. Track and field, bobsled, go Canes. Number 6, Tenard Davis. The only man to win a Super Bowl and a Battle Court championship for the Cyclones. Top 10 two-sport athlete. Number 5, Eddie Egan. Golds in multiple sports. Number 4, Bo Jackson. Number 3, Brock Lesnar. Number 2, Jim Thorpe. And number 1, Deion Sanders. What a list.
Where's Antonio Gates? How is Tony Gonzalez and Jimmy Graham ahead of Antonio Gates?
Antonio Gates gets to say, I wasn't as good as Michael Jordan.
Said, I'm retiring. Very surprised that the Sun Sentinel had the audacity to lay him off. That to me was surprising.
Is it true, Greg? There's a rumor going around. I don't know all the context, but there's a rumor going around that when someone arrived here this morning, they saw you in this room by yourself on the phone, and you said, "We won."
I cannot confirm that. No, I cannot confirm that at all. I've got, that's. I have nothing to do with that, so.
We had plenty to do with it.
What's going on here?
The last cowboy standing.
All right. Yeah, I am the last cowboy standing, although I'm sitting right now.
Cuddled up next to our wife.
I should be on a horse.
Gave her a nice spoon from the back. Said, honey, we won.
All right. Inner voice, you're fired. I want a new inner voice.
What am I, Dave Hyde?
Oh, God.
What a great day.
All right, this is going off the rails. I have nothing but respect for
Sun
Dave Hyde.
Sentinel, for having the courage.
Courage?
Yes,
Quite
the
the
courage to do the right thing. Honestly, it should have been done years ago. We could have called this race long ago. I'm the man. Did what needed to be done.
Okay. Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Let's do gas bag of the week. Roy, what is it that needs context here on who's speaking and who is the gas bag of the week?
All right, so Steve Yzerman stepped down as general manager and executive vice president of the Detroit Red Wings. Having problems up there. Dylan Larkin was to be traded. So a sports fan called into a Detroit radio station and gave his theory about why he's been so bad as general manager.
Tim is next on 97.1. Hello, Tim.
There was a clip a few years back on TNT where they were interviewing Yzerman in between periods, and he basically said, without saying, he smokes a nice one, every once in a while to relax. Do you think maybe he was on that was lettuce a little too much? He was a little too passive, perhaps.
What? What, think that they're high?
Do you think that was a factor?
No. What? Do we think that Steve Yzerman struggled because he's a pothead? Is that what you just asked us? No. No, I don't. And did he admit that? No, I feel like if he admitted that, are you on the devil's lettuce? Are you the pothead? What?
All right. Well, there's that.
No!
Gas bag of the week.
Does that deserve applause?
I love radio remotes. Birds chirping in the background. The soft sounds of you adjusting your headphones.
Are you on the devil's lettuce?
The fact that that's probably a car dealership. Oh, that's hot. I like that. I'm an audiophile.
Down at Potemkin Mazda.
So is Roy. Roy is, I don't know what that look is on Roy's face, but it looked a bit like old girlfriend longing. She was a real Hellcat. Like, yeah.
Yeah, real tomcat. I love that. Oh, hey, Gary Abar. I'm getting a little, my return is a little too loud, Gary Abar. Oh man,
where's Tree?
Oh yeah, what's the ISDN settings? G.722.
I get this joke too.
We got a backup coupler. Hell yeah, G.722.
It's a good call by you.
Gary Abar, Jeremy, was the most competent of all of the engineering and audio help that we had. But that particular sound that Roy just played that made him both nostalgic and longing in a way that is weird. There's a little nature in there, but what you really hear there that is making Roy laugh, and it's what Zaz is appreciating here as well. Rare is it that you get the sound of what it sounds like on the very lowest rung of the show business ladder. And this is below that. Like, so you got the lowest rung of the show business ladder, and then you've got where you plant the ladder underneath that, and then underneath that, then the car people coming by, and you're surrounded by used car salesmen, and Ed Williamson is up your ass.
Just 500 due at signing.
Tax tagging time.
We got a bounce house here for the kids. The cookies are warm and the coffee is hotter.
My father would show up at those when we weren't doing the remotes just to have like the pigs in a blanket that have been there since Wednesday on a tray where, Julio, the sad car dealer guy who's finishing 9th place just out of the bonus that week is sniffing around as you're talking about Lusaka Polite.
Got Defo in the corner asking trivia questions at JM Lexus about the 1970s Knicks. I love it.
That's where we started right there. Gary Abar's the height of the professionalism. I don't know why they did that. Look, people in Gary Abar's position in my history in this business, every last one of them has been insane. Gary Abar's the only sane one.
He's a beacon.
He was the only guy. That guy was a lighthouse. That guy, whenever that sound was happening, Gary, the birds are too loud. I wasn't expecting those at the car dealership. Also, there's an alligator in lot 3 because we're in the Everglades.
Ed Morse, of course.
Tony's about to leave because he's headed to go see if he can talk to Giannis and Bobby Portis, but I think there's a problem in that these guys are doing a lot of media today, and I heard Zaz grumbling because I think that...
Dan, I'm sitting at the table out there. We're doing production stuff. I'm finishing my bagel. Tony's finishing eating. Tony gets a huge plate every morning for breakfast. If you're wondering all the money that's being spent here at breakfast, Tony has one of everything every morning. Okay, whatever.
What?
Yeah. I look at your plate, you got everything.
I got a little bit of egg, a little bit of bacon, and a little bit of potato. What's wrong with that?
Pat Riley is going to spend an hour with us here during the post-game show. I should tell you that is taped, but it will be immediately after the show, so it will present as live because as soon as we're finished here this hour with Amin Al-Hassan and Juju Gotti, we will segue into an hour of Pat Riley. Before we do some of that, though, in baseball, I do long for a time when people cared that the Red Sox are 20-2 in the last 3 weeks and just smoked my Rays in 4 games and have won 13 in a row and have gotten back into the AL East conversation. And also Hunter Goodman again hit 3 home runs in a game because baseball is remarkably distorted. And 3 home runs in a game just seems crazy to me. And he's done it twice now this season, which is unusual.
The Baltimore Orioles, Dan. They're never out of it, huh? Is that who he plays for?
No. You want to keep going? Do you want to keep?
Yeah. No, he is.
You know what? I think if we sit here, go ahead and guess. We're going to sit here until you get it. Let's see. Let's just sit.
He's
here.
A Minnesota Twin, Dan.
Nope.
He's an incredible Tampa Bay Ray.
Nope.
He is a
keep going. Just keep
San
going.
Francisco Giants.
I don't think if I gave you the standings, you would get it. I don't think you're going to get it.
He's in Oakland Athletics, soon to be Vegas.
Give him the division.
No.
Sacramento.
He's an Anaheim Angel of Los Angeles. What do they call themselves now?
No.
He's not a Dodger. I know that one. He's not a Yankee.
No.
He's not a Red Sox.
Well, if I give him the division, do you think he can name the teams in the division?
That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right. NL West.
NL West, we've got the Dodgers. NL West, we've got the Diamondbacks. Is he a Diamondback, Dano?
No.
Okay. Diamondbacks. We've got the Dodgers. We've got the...
I don't like this city.
Sheesh.
It's a bad city.
We got a lot
It's a
of
bad
those.
city.
The
No.
Giants.
Yes.
Yeah, I said
That's
that one
the
already.
You did?
Yes, I said
Well,
Giants.
I just want to double down. I don't like
Okay.
that city.
2 more.
2 more?
Yes.
Damn. Diamondbacks.
Sheesh.
There's a.
All right, just hold on to
is
it.
Houston there?
Unbelievable.
No.
Different
league now.
Different league. Amin Al Hassan is with us.
Is he on any of those teams that I mentioned?
No, you haven't gotten it yet, and I think I can give you the rest of time. And if I don't let you look at the standings, or if I don't...
The Padres are there too. No.
There you go.
Is he a Padre?
No.
One more.
Well, I don't think Mike knows either. Is the funny thing. Mike's sitting here waiting for the answer.
Got
from
no
us.
clue who this guy is, but I didn't want to pretend like I did.
30 homers.
His name is
As
what
a
now?
catcher. Hunter Goodman.
Hunter Goodwin.
Goodman.
Not good.
But I
Goodman.
do know the teams in the NL West.
This is a team that never has a good win.
Oh, he's a Colorado Rocky. There it is. Let's go.
Amin Al Hassan is with us, and we're going to do the World Cup observations with him. I want to show the tweet to Amin Al Hassan, though, because I think there is now public pressure on Chris Cody to not look like a fool or to be a hero later this afternoon when he's texting me that he's got the source. He's telling me that he's not fooling around with this, that he's not making it up. I mean, what are your thoughts here on Chris Cody getting a lot of engagement, more than he deserves, with no credibility, for reporting that late this afternoon, even as Pat Riley claims to not know what it is that LeBron James is doing, Chris Cody says he does. Later this afternoon, LeBron to Miami, as the market price, DraftKings Sportsbook, all 50 states, says that Miami keeps climbing as a favorite, a prohibitive favorite to get LeBron James now, Amin.
Yeah, I think Chris is doing the time-honored tradition of there is no downside. I get out ahead of this early, and if I'm right, I become a deity. And if I'm wrong, no one remembers because I'm Chris Cody.
So he's just risk analysis? That's all it is that he's doing? Risk reward.
And it's a great strategy in this attention economy that we live in. It's like there's no downside.
It's not a great. It's your credibility's the downside. What do you mean there's no downside?
We're talking about Chris Cody, aren't we? What's this word credibility? What are you talking about?
His father's a journalist. His father cares about credibility.
That's his father. We're talking about Chris Cody. It didn't say Chris, son of Greg Cody. It just says Chris Cody. 350,000 views, Dan. Where's the credibility?
That's all that
Nobody
matters.
cares.
Of course, that's all that matters. We'll get to Amin's World Cup observations in a second, but he has said that Zaz is not a movie guy, and Zaz will not shut up about He-Man, and Zaz will not shut up about Odyssey. So which Zaz would you like a crack at right now to talk about with Amin, given that Amin is a movie guy, cinephobe, wherever it is you get your podcast?
Well, I'd like to talk about Odyssey. Amin, have you seen Odyssey yet?
Not yet, because I've decided I'm not going to fall for the Christopher Nolan, hey, shell out a bunch of money for the 70 millimeter. I'm just going to wait till it comes out on streaming, and everyone's going to be like, oh, but you need a big screen. No, I don't. I'm not twice. Not twice. I did that thing one time. I was like, never again am I going to do this. You know what? The next movie that's going to get me to go to a movie theater to watch is going to be Spider-Man. That one, I'm like, all right, I know what I'm getting there. The Odyssey, I'm sure it's tremendous. I'm going to watch it. I just am not going to go spend a bunch of money.
Oh, man, you're missing out. You don't need to see it on the 70 millimeter. Just go see it in a movie theater.
It's also 3 hours long, right?
Yep. Doesn't feel like it.
Look, nothing against, I'm sure it paces great. But I found when I go to a movie theater, if this thing is trending towards 120 minutes or more, Amin's going to take a nap. That's just the way it is. The seats are too comfortable. The conditions are too good. I'm gonna fall asleep. I went to go see, what was the movie, Mike, that we saw, and I fell asleep during. And
the moving seats, Mortal Kombat 2.
Mortal Kombat.
You fell asleep in Mortal Kombat 2?
It was, and the
in
seats were
40X.
moving the whole time.
40X.
Every punch you literally feel.
You won't fall asleep in the 40X for the Odyssey because actually every time there's a battle, someone in the seat gets shot with an arrow. Like keeps you on your toes.
Haha. Comedy.
So you like the Odyssey? Christopher
Oh my
Nolan,
God,
good
the Odyssey's
filmmaker?
amazing. Like I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop reading everything about it over the last few days that I saw it.
Now, Zaz, I have to ask: was this your first time learning about the story of the Odyssey? Were you?
No, of course not.
No spoilers.
No, of course not. Like I knew plenty about it. Did I know everything? No, absolutely not. But I knew plenty about it.
Oh, stop
it! You know about the guy with the one eye?
Amin, stop interrupting Zagacki for his political takes.
All right, don't watch this movie. If you do, you'll be gay. Don't do that. Odyssey this, Odyssey that. Yeah, Odyssey, Sound of Freedom, starring Jim Caviezel.
Former Christ.
Why would I become gay if I saw this movie?
Former Christ.
There's the Achilles. I read that. Achilles.
Right.
It's Juno.
Right.
You
Juno.
ought to see Matt
Did
Damon's
you know?
abs in this movie.
I'm not watching it. I'm not. Because everyone knows the actual Achilles was a man. And the Cyclops was also a man.
Okay, but Juno doesn't play Achilles in this movie.
That's what I read.
Well, it's not true.
That's my truth.
Alternate facts. Let's go ahead and play the World Cup.
Wait. Before we do that, Zaz, I saw Masters of the Universe last night.
Oh,
That
so
was
last
trash.
night? Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
right. It was
trash.
trash. I'll fight you next time I see you.
I'll fight you.
He-Man
exactly.
was
It's
trash.
Trash. They didn't lean in enough. Like either be funny or just do it straight. But you can't do it halfway. And that's what they try to do.
Oh, you're
It just
nuts,
wasn't
man. That
funny.
movie is so
Bad
much
story.
fun. I want to see it again. I knew you weren't a movie guy. I knew it, and this confirms it. You probably didn't even play with He-Man when you were a kid.
No, I was a Transformers guy.
All right. Wow. So you only liked one cartoon. That's on you.
No,
dog.
G.I. Joe too. G.I. Joe, by the way, Danny McBride is remaking G.I. Joe. I'm so excited for this because
Ooh, I didn't know that.
this is the kind of comedic mind I need to take advantage of how campy G.I. Joe is.
Do you like the other G.I. Joe movies?
He-Man, you're probably still talking about Achilles.
Time now for Amin's World Cup observations.
It is time for
to
share his
World Cup.
game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy.
You guys are funny today, man. Good job. World Cup Observations is brought to you by Miller Lite. Legendary moments start with a light. Dan, I woke up today and the sun was shining a little brighter. The birds were singing a song that was just a little bit more beautiful than normal.
You're such a hater.
The crisp morning air, it smelled sweeter. Because the universe is back in balance. The bad guys lost. The good guys won. I know what you're thinking. I mean, you're just happy Argentina lost. Sure, I am, but it's not just that. It's how they lost. A pathetic, feckless performance. 0 attempts on goal in 90 minutes of regulation. Rife with rampant, unsportsmanlike conduct during and after the game. The only thing missing was their fans calling anyone black a monkey. Hey, we're the monkeys.
Beatles
FIFA's first
are
halftime show.
litigious.
Who?
The Beatles.
Oh, yeah. FIFA's first halftime show. Terrifying. And I'm not talking about Madonna's plastic surgery. Look, I just didn't expect to see Muppets, man. I picked the wrong day to quit edibles. Halfway through, I said, wait, Electric Mayhem is here, but there's no Dr. Teeth? Was he back at the hotel telling 29-year-old bros, I heard my music being played and I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Electric Mayhem.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Did you know that the Muppets band was known as Electric Mayhem?
Leo Messi's tears. Those are my PEDs. Hey, look at that. Now me and him have something in common. We both take things to make us better. In his case, to make him not 4'7". True story. If he didn't take PEDs, he would have grown up to be 4'7". But I'm supposed to just ignore that. Get out of here. Mike Ryan's World Cup group chat Messi stands meltdown. Also my PEDs. Not Mike Ryan. The Messi stands in his World Cup group chat. I want to make that clear. They spent 6 weeks talking wild shit every day. And then want to have rational, thoughtful conversations now. Like, well, hold on. Well, technically, when you look up the expected goal, shut the fuck up. Kylian Mbappe not only wins the Golden Boot, but also cements himself as the all-time leading goal scorer in World Cup history. And it took him half the number of World Cups as it did Messi. Huh. Check the archives. I told y'all he wouldn't hold on to that record. He didn't own it. He wasn't even renting. He stayed at an Airbnb. And Mbappe was the landlord. And you got to be out by 10 a.m. Gianni Infantino winning another election means we're due for more buffoonery for the foreseeable future. Can't win them all, Dano. Justin Bieber fake playing a guitar. Somehow more terrifying than the Muppets. I mean, he wasn't even touching it. He was just waving his hand in front of it. It wasn't all fun and games yesterday, kids. We got some really sad news. The retirement of Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
I saw.
America wasn't ready for your deadpan humor. You guys wasted an entire World Cup wondering if he hates Alexi Lalas instead of doing what Zlatan wanted you to do, which is just laugh at Alexi Lalas. Honestly, I'd retire too. Feel the same sometimes. Lamine Yamal, you're a real one. They want to say that you somehow disappointed. That's just because they want to protect their little prince. This is just the beginning. He's only 19, Dan. Did you know that?
I did.
Yeah.
Did you know that
Fernandez.
Did you know that Tony is his father's age?
Yeah, dude, let me tell you something. I got summer league stories about meeting the fathers of NBA players. And someone say, hey, you need to meet so-and-so's dad. And I turn around and I expect to see an old, wise man with gray hair and a long beard. And instead I see someone like, this guy's my age. What are you talking about? What do you mean your son's in the NBA? It's tough. Fernandez. Thug. Barco. Clown. Paredes. Door loser. Messi. Fraud.
Oh, no.
Nothing stinks of desperation more than trying to get a guy kicked out because he touched his mouth. You're not only a snitch, you're a snitch who's terrible at it. Hey, Messi, why don't you try, I don't know, playing? Maybe that will make a difference. Oh, I know standing around and taking a stroll is your style, but fraud. Martinez, the biggest driving force behind Argentine's success over the last 5 years. Quote me on that. And it kills me to say it because he's a real piece of shit. Excuse me, sorry. I mean to say he exhibits the behavior of a real piece of shit. Including that stupid-ass haircut. Good riddance. God, I love Shakira. Beautiful. Donald Trump, get the fuck off the stage. England. I don't know what I enjoyed more. Seeing Chris Whittingham capitulate on air about the Argentina-Egypt game, or watching Chris Whittingham leave the group chat after I ground down Mike Ryan's Messi stand friends into a fine powder and then snorted it. PEDs either way, baby. I love when music artists playing halftime of a sporting event feel like they need to wear like paraphernalia instead of just wearing whatever they wear, like a leather jersey with rhinestones. Like it just can't be like, hey, I'll wear a soccer jersey. Like, no, shred it over here and give it some chains. What the hell was the Count doing there? He wasn't on the Muppet Show. He didn't even make the cut for Muppet Babies. The Count, not a top 5 Muppet. World Cup is over, guys. We're all going to miss it. I hope you all got your prescriptions filled for Get a Life. Unless you're from Argentina. Then you can just go to hell. Those are the World Cup observations for the last time.
Thank you, Amin. They were excellent. Juju put all of these things on the poll that we are going to update before the end of the hour.
Look at that picture.
What the hell was the Count doing there? Yes or no? Do you know what the phrase shithousery means, going back to Chris Whittingham's segment, because that's not something I've heard before. And also make just one word this poll. When you look at the expected goal scores, shut the bleep up. Just make all of that one word. What were your halftime show observations? Because I want to put up on the screen something that me and Valerie were doing when the car was coming out with Madonna. We were asking, who are those guys with Madonna? Why are they in the front of the car? And so I didn't know. I didn't know who they were. I'm sorry. So help, please. I'm asking for your help here. My ignorance is showing. Please tell me who they are.
The guy on the right is Ronaldo, a.k.a. Fat Ronaldo.
Oh, Jesus, I didn't even recognize him. No. You've got to be shitting me. You have got to be shitting me. I did not recognize that was Ronaldo. Oh, my
yeah,
God.
Dan, that was the gambit.
Oh, my God.
And the one on the left's even more egregious because he does all sorts of marketing stuff.
Yeah, Ronaldinho.
Famous.
He's
Look
been
at
in
those-
like McDonald's commercials and
look at those
Nike.
chompers.
Like he's all over it.
I
man.
can't.
And he had the.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I just can't. I
Yeah,
did not. I did not recognize them. I didn't recognize either one of them. Now, once I saw Ronaldo, then oh my God, I can't believe that. I can't believe I did that. All right.
Do you think he actually drove, or was it like a remote control and he just pretended with the steering wheel?
I thought they had to be somebody because once they were in the car and then got out of the car and stood next to her, I should have recognized that. Thank you. I mean, appreciate the time. I don't feel like that one is on me, though.
Of course it is.
No.
They didn't have to say who they were because they're internationally, globally famous, and it's not like they've been away from the game. They are so visible. They were at every match.
Zaz.
You should have known that's Ronaldo and Ronaldinho.
Okay.
They're two of the most famous people ever. I don't understand what's happening here.
Because Ronaldo doesn't look anymore like what Ronaldo used to look
No,
like.
Ronaldo looks like he looked the previous match. He's shown every World Cup match. Are you familiar with
Yeah,
sport?
this isn't the first time they've trotted him out this
Yeah,
tournament.
Ronaldo's ever present.
First time I saw him, and I didn't recognize him. That's on me. I got it. Is there a fine for that? Like, what is that?
There should be. And Ronaldinho is just as bad.
Well, fair enough, but I think that I can be excused for one of them. Like I
What?
do.
No, VAR ruled. You can't be.
Which one, Madonna?
All three of them in some form are a little bit unrecognizable from whatever their
A lot of
prime
it.
was. In fact, who would be the top of the list of least recognizable if I put the three in front
Korean
of you
ladies.
based-
I'll tell you, and that's the song that they picked for Madonna. That song blows that she came out to.
No, that does not. That's
That
not
song
true.
blows.
I don't even remember what song it was, to be honest.
Wasn't it music?
Yeah.
Yes.
That song sucks.
All right. Zaz, whatever, dude.
That's your response?
He's right, though.
Whatever.
I'm not gonna debate pop music with Jonathan Zaslow, who's still rocking Alice in Chains, which is a fine, good band. But look, you have a very finite musical landscape.
The newer Madonna is the hill you're going to die on?
That's not a new Madonna
That's
song.
not
That
that
song's
new.
25 years old. You're
It's
a
one of her
loon.
recent albums.
You're just a goofball.
It's
no,
one of her.
what's a
it's
recent
one of her latest albums.
Dog, it literally introduced us to Ali G.
How many albums
It was
has
last.
Madonna released?
It
since
was
then?
last century. Madonna.
Yeah.
Madonna, the
Yeah.
Queen of Pop.
Yeah.
Probably 5.
No way.
You're an idiot.
She
No
has
way.
released.
You're somehow the biggest idiot in the studio, and the other guy didn't
You're
recognize
just
Ronaldo.
mad. You're just mad that you compared the following of I Show Speed to Michael Jackson.
Yeah, you ever see him go
That's
to Turks
on
and
you,
Caicos?
man.
You ever see either of them go to Turks and Caicos?
Nothing you say the rest of the way here matters when you compare I Show Speed's
You're an old moron.
popularity
You're an
to
old
Michael
fool.
Jackson.
Yeah, you're getting a Facebook algo
Thank you.
that just fortifies grunge music.
I don't want to embarrass you any further.
You're wearing cargo shorts.
Madonna has released 7 albums since that album.
I don't believe you.
How do we even?
Juju is here, and before I go to Juju, I'd like an explanation here from all of you why it is that Cam Scatterbo pronounces
Michael Jackson.
Cam Scatterbo pronounces his name Scatterbo, even though he only spells it with one O, and I feel like it should be Scatterbo. Can someone help me? Can someone give me some assistance? The reason I'm bringing all of this up is because the fullback / running back for the New York Giants seems to have, judgment issues and is a quintessential football player. And at the Fanatics Fest that we recently saw, he did something coming off of injury that is not the wisest thing. I'm sure the Giants were not thrilled to see what happened here. So let's show the people here what it is that Cam Scatterbo did at Fanatics Fest.
That's a play on for me.
You don't think he has to be slightly more careful than that? No, he bangs his head against the walls. He's a little bit crazy.
Dan, Cam Scattaboo and people like him are like the secret to aging, where you see like a woman who's like 109, you're like, how did you get to be this old? He's like, I drank 96 Diet Cokes a day and smoked 7 packs of cigarettes. The doctor told her to stop while doing it, and then she died. Cam Scattaboo's the same way. You got to let him do whatever he wants. You can't stop him. You want to do a backflip that almost tears your knee up? Do it. Because the opposite is worse. Having him just be a normal person, we can't have that. We need him to be in his lane doing crazy things because that's who he is.
And for that audio-only audience, it was a show-off of the knee. So pulling up the pant leg, showing off the ankle that has recently had surgery on it, that he's rehabbing.
Which at one point was facing the wrong direction.
Correct. Putting that pant leg down, then doing a backflip, not landing it. Landing on 2 feet.
He got around there.
Basically in a split, stumbling backwards, and then still somehow getting up and clapping.
Like it
and
looked like
pumping
he
everything
broke
up.
his ankle when he landed.
Yes. I mean, a totally moronic move, and it's exactly what Cam Scattaboo needs to be doing.
He didn't land it. I don't think that...
He got around. No, his 2 feet hit the ground, but he didn't land it.
But he landed. Let's see it again real quick before we get to the sound of him explaining all of it. But let's go ahead and play again what Jeremy says is landing it, because once he does the backflip or waves off, there's no problem with my knee. I can do a backflip. He then lands on his ass.
Dan, you can agree as a bigger guy who probably didn't do this as a kid, because I did not. I was not a backflip kid. I don't imagine you were.
I did backflips.
I didn't ask you. So when you get to do the whole way around, in my book, you did a backflip. If you can get your ass to the opposite side, even if you landed or not, you did the backflip. You don't have to land it like if you're in the Olympics or something.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Did you land the backflip if you land on your ass? Juju, I know you're busy. We'll update that for tomorrow. It's okay. You don't have to update that poll right now. What do you have for us on today's proceedings, though, before we update the polls and before we get to an hour with Pat Riley here?
I had a joker of the day today, you feel me? Starting off with my brother Cam Scattaboo. Little thunder still right there. Just like last week's Thursday Thunder to the listening audience. The game was canceled, so the game is rescheduled for tonight. But Paige Beckers is hurt, so there's that. So you will be refunded on your Thursday Thunders. But I still have some jokers of the weekend, man. Starting with Argentina as a whole. Gross. You can't be at the World Cup punching on folks, man. What is wrong with y'all boys, man? Y'all boys is ghetto. Where are the fathers? You dig? Also, Lionel Messi. Telling. Boy, Messi, I ain't know you was telling. Damn. And you a horrible snitch like my boy Mean say. But not only is you telling on mouth covers. Ugh, gross. Ain't nothing worse than a snitch. An unsuccessful snitch at that. You dig it? And lastly, my boy Trump, man. Get your goofy ass off the podium, bit, bruh. Please, brother, we trying to do something here.
He's my boy Trump, too.
You feel me? Those are the jokers of the day.
Any flowers to give out? Because you are about the positivity as well. It's not just jokers. It hurts you sometimes to hit people with the joker of the day. So who are you giving flowers today?
Yes, sir, man. I got a flowers of the day, man, to a Mexican fan, brother. Just like myself, my team Mexico lost. But he pulled up to the arena yesterday supporting Spain and got into it with an Argentinian fan behind him. Man, his interaction with them was worth of flowers. We had it on the video team. I don't know if it's there or not. But you, sir, get the flowers. You know who you are.
Okay. Before we get to the polls here, what other ground do you want to cover before we get to the polls and before we get to Pat Riley, who's going to be spending an hour with us? Again, it is taped content with Pat Riley, but it will be an hour with the an American sports leadership icon. Is going to be hogging Juju's post-game space. It's the only one of the few entities in sports that Juju is put out of the way for is an American sports leadership icon. What else do you have for us here, Juju?
Yes, sir. Real quickly, salute to the Warriors and Yaxel Lindenberg for getting the Summer League victory and MVP, as well as I went to the movies this weekend, Zaz, and I saw The Odyssey.
Oh, what'd you think?
Brother, you are right. Brother, you are exactly right. It's 3 hours where? I thought I just sat down and got up. I did not notice that time going by at all. But I have an idea for the movie theaters. When the movie is 3 hours and some change, or 2.5 to 3 hours, let's institute a little intermission tip.
Not a
You
terrible
dig it?
idea.
Because the brother next to me, my brother had to, that brother can piss. You dig? He got up and down out of his chair so much, I was like, my boy need at least one intermission so he could catch. My boy coming out of this, he ain't even see it. So yeah, man, let's give these boys some intermissions, man.
Put it on the poll as well for tomorrow. Can that brother piss at Le Batard Show? Yes or no, so that we can catch up on a couple of the polls that I threw your way here that are to be updated tomorrow. The last two I gave you don't have to put in today, but what do you have for us in the way of update today on the polls?
Would you be okay with Cape Verde being made the second place finisher? 90% of the audience says yes, they would.
Go on, girl.
If you're over 40 years old and you're wearing a tracksuit, have you given up? 83% of the audience says, yes, you have.
Go on, girl.
Was Bosnia wondering who the Muppets were? 90% of the audience says, yes, they were.
Go on, count. He's not even a Muppet. He's a Sesame Street character.
They get the Sesame Street in Bosnia, guys. They get it everywhere.
Are you embarrassed that you didn't know that Joe Mauer was FSU's #1 recruit at quarterback? 67% of the audience says, no, they are not.
Go on, girl.
Did you know that the Muppets band was called Electric Mayhem? 74% of the audience says, no, they did not.
Go on, girl.
I'm going to mosey over to Twitter to get the rest of the polls. But before I do, salute to the WNBA and Sandy Brondello and Andrew Reese. Over the weekend, Sandy got suspended for 1 game for calling Andrew Reese a protected species, which over in Australia means something different. Over here, it's nuck if you butt time. So WNBA got in front of it. You dig? And,
Is she
and said,
Australian,
hey, Sandy.
Brondello? Is she Australian?
Yes, sir. She played for them, their national team as well when she
Gotcha.
played. So, yeah. And she apologized profusely, but we're in America, Jack. So, yeah, you have to get it together. What the hell was the count doing there? 78% of the audience says yes.
Go on, girl.
It's not a Muppet.
Do you know what shithousery means? 69% of the audience says yes, they do.
Go on, girl.
And last poll, when you look at the expected goal score, shut the bleep up. 82% of the audience says yes, and those are your polls.
Go on, girl.
Thank you, Juju. We will talk to you tomorrow. Always appreciate the time. I will remind the audience yet again that in about 10 minutes you're going to get an hour of Pat Riley. And I just want to ask you guys, because I will be curious about what the assessment is. What do you want to know? Like, do you think you're going to get answers to the questions that you have? Because as I mentioned before, I always want to have the larger conversations with Pat Riley. He has gone from godfather to grandfather, and so one of the things that he does is he likes the storytelling, and I like the storytelling. But I think the minutia of the day and the news of the day, and as a newsmaker of the day, still 6 decades in, that you guys have no time for any of the past stuff that you want now. That there
With
is
Pat, you've done that. You've done it in the
Yeah,
South
but
Beach sessions. You've done it with the Art of Conversation. Who could forget? Put that on the poll. Art of Conversation. Who could forget? I don't know if you cover this, and I don't want to run the risk of undercutting an upcoming interview that I'm not privy to. But I do think, as a whole, everybody has moved on already to LeBron, and I think that's a little ridiculous given the criticism that was around the Miami Heat for several years. You got to add a player that's better than Bam. You got to add a player that's better than Jimmy Butler. Lots of attempts, lots of years in the making, and I think it should be celebrated because they kicked ass this offseason, whether it ends with them landing another plane or not.
I'd like to know what his thoughts were on Hero and Bam.
Yeah, that's the news of the day stuff. I did ask him about that, and you will hear his thoughts on that. It's just do you understand my sort of remorse when you have somebody who's part library and part museum, and you like the macro stuff? I don't really want to talk to him about a 28-year-old punching a 26-year-old because I have to be so now that we get like, what are your thoughts on that? I am curious, and I do ask him that, but you understand what my sort of I'm doing something here with this that the audience wants, but I don't think it's the best version of him to use him that way, just because I think it sort of ignores the idea that he's got 6 decades worth of stories worth telling.
That's okay, though. I mean, how many times have you explained here that your responsibility is to the audience and what the audience wants? So, there's a difference between what you think is interesting and what you also then believe the audience cares more about. And if you went the direction of what the audience cares more about, I think you're probably doing the right thing.
This is also, in many ways, like that final feather in the cap on his historic career. This is the final whale, likely, that he will acquire, that including LeBron James or not. But Giannis is that final big swing in a career of big swings. So taking the time right now to dissect a bit of the now, when after his career, whenever that day comes that he retires and sits down with you for another career retrospective, this will be just a piece of that, and it'll be great to have all the details that came with this one.
Okay, but I guess that in what I was saying to you guys before, it sort of ties in. I don't know if this is the last time I get to talk to him this way. I'm not even talking about mortality. I'm just talking about there's no reason for him to do any of this anymore, at all.
I'm stunned he did it. Yeah.
There's just nothing in it for him.
Given everything that is on the line right now, given how busy of a time this appears to be for him, I'm stunned you got access to him. So he speaks, I listen. I'm curious to see how that goes. You're going to ask him about LeBron, right, and whether or not LeBron's coming here?
Yeah, I will, but as I probably don't need to tell you, how do you think that's going to go? What are your general thoughts on what you think?
I think he's going to say Chris Cody is right, and that it's happening later today in a matter of hours, and LeBron James will be a Heat.
By the way, Zaz, I'm serious when I say that. I thought the last time I talked to him would be the last time that he did any of that, because there's nothing in it for him. The man 40 years ago was at the center of Hollywood fame and fortune. That's 40 years ago. There is next to nothing to be gained by him going and doing an interview on a podcast.
But that must make you feel good then.
Well, it would make me feel better if I can do the kind of thing that I wanted to do, as opposed to be the prisoner of having to find out, what it is that he feels about a 26-year-old being punched by a 28-year-old.
Are you going to write the book? Yeah. Hey, I mean, Pat seems to always say, you want to write the book? Are you going to write the book? Write it. I mean, if anybody should write the book on Riley, it should be you alongside Pat Riley. Or maybe Greg Cody.
You know how to write a book?
No, I haven't been able to do it yet. I haven't figured out.
Feels like something you would have done already.
I'll
if
listen.
You knew how to do it.
To that book. You got my word.
Pat Riley, not kind of in audiobook form. Yeah, kind of in audiobook form. Next.
I can't be wrong.
You have no idea what an honor this is, not because the legend of more than half a century, basketball legend Pat Riley is with us, but because of how much this man disdains the podcast. He does not like the existence of any podcast. He does not have any use for it. So the fact that you would honor us with this sacrifice of joining our podcast, I appreciate it very much, Pat. Good to see you.
Well, thank you, Dan, and I appreciate the shipping container is not here, right? Is that what you call it?
That is the shipping container. They prefer now the custodians because they
okay.
think they're gatekeeping something. But you didn't want the shipping container here? You
No,
banned them? You
I'm
banished them?
When I went over the roster, you got a team of renegades.
That's right.
And they're good.
That's right.
And every time I listen to your show, I go into any podcast almost with people who have an institutional knowledge of sports, maybe more so in 4 or 5 than maybe croquet or lacrosse or something. The bandwidth and how they talk, they back there, all of them very accomplished. In their presentations, in their body language, their communication, their message, their arguments, and how they go at one another is like being on a team.
Well, I learned it from you.
And my bandwidth here, my brain bandwidth goes very fast when I'm talking about hoops or when I'm in front of my team. But when I'm on a show like this, I can't match that. I really can't because of their depth.
You've said that before about working with Bob Costas, who had sort of an expertise in what it is that he was doing. But you've dedicated yourself to the pursuit of almost a single thing for 60 years now, right? Like that's you've built your life around something. We'll talk about Giannis and the things of the day, but you have dedicated your entire identity to this one thing that you love above all else except your family.
Well, when you're born in 1945 and, you grow up in a small town, with nothing really. I had great parents. They worked hard, but we didn't have anything. You experienced the same thing yourself. And I remember the first time I was in 6th grade, we didn't have a team at St. Joseph's Academy. We were in 6th grade. St. Columbus was having a game that night with the varsity team and a junior varsity team. They didn't have, the junior varsity team didn't have anybody to play against. So, the priest from, St. Columbus called the priest from St. Joseph's and said, "Can you give me some 6th graders up here to play against this team?" Father Starks walks in. He said, "Riley, you, Logan, you, 6 of us." We had never even practiced. We win the game. 6th graders against 9th graders. 8th and 9th graders. I get 19 points in the game at 19. And
that's a long time ago. You're remembering the exact point total.
But no, this was when it changed. This is when it hit. And it was very simple. I walked back into class the next day, my 6th grade class. I walked in, and now there's Mother Superior, Sister Mary Samuel, my teacher, Father Starks. And as soon as I walked into class, the kids stood up and gave me a standing ovation, okay? And I'm going,
I like this.
It's recognition. And so I think when you're really young and you get recognized as something, and you never got that kind of feedback from anybody on anything, I'm going to pursue this.
That's what happened to me in high school with writing. They told me I was good at something for the first time. It happened earlier for you. You must have felt touched by God, though, right? Because basketball rescued you. Basketball saved you.
No, I had the fear of God in me. I was an altar boy, and I was going to catechism, and we had religious teachings every day, and I was giving communion on Friday and the whole thing. And so I was touched, unbeknownst to me, being a 6th grader, that a message was sent to me that you're good at something, and I got better and better. It didn't take long. Once I got a good coach, and I went from St. Joseph's right to Central Park. It was a public school. And then I had a coach. He happened to be an English teacher. That was his year. His name was Donald Punterman. But he knew basketball, and he knew how to coach. And he started coaching me and coaching the team and all that stuff. And I got better. My parents actually paid attention to me a little bit. Not that they didn't, but they're just working their ass off all the time so much. And that's when I started getting into fights. Competitive fights on the court that led to the playground and all that stuff. I mean, it was Schenectady was that.
I want to ask you. I want to ask you about your comfort with conflict, but let's get to the things happening around you at the.
It was recognition as well. Same thing you got.
Yeah, at the beginning it's recognition, and you've been getting recognition for all the time since, but people have gotten forgetful recently about what it is that you've done because your team didn't matter the way it has last year. So let's start with the trade you made and the anxiety about the trade. How close were you guys to getting Giannis before the trade deadline?
I hate to talk about, trade talk and all that stuff. Sometimes it's almost an unwritten law, covenant that we all have as GMs. Let's not talk about it, okay? If you trade something or whatever it is, they don't want the details out. But, Milwaukee and John Horst and Andy and I, are really good friends. We've known John for a long time, and it's all part of the cabal of GMs and presidents and stuff. And so, we had a lot of dialogue early, before the trading deadline, and it didn't work at the 11th hour, whether it was, negotiating or whatever it is. We didn't do anything until, just prior to the draft.
May I ask the question a different way? Because it was reported that the group felt like the trade was largely in place until Milwaukee management or ownership stepped in at the last minute. Okay.
See, I don't know the backstory there. I just know that they were very complimentary, but they said they wanted to wait, and that was it. And that's usually how it is in the game, and this is the way it's been ever since I've been here.
You've wanted him for a long time is the reason I'm asking the question. You've had him in your sights. Why specifically him?
Well, it's similar to what we did with LeBron and Chris Bosh and Dwayne. We won the title in 2006. After we won, Dwayne, LeBron, Chris Bosh, Joe Johnson, Amari Stoudemire, all signed the same extensions, and they're all going to end in 2010. And so we just win it. The next year, we lose in 4 games to Chicago in the first round, then the whole team breaks down. So we started to look at 2010 because we were going to have space to bid on free agents with favorable rules. And so Andy and I just cleared space, kept clearing space, and thank God, and I hired Spo, and we drafted Beasley. We had Dwayne in MVP-like years. We made the playoffs those 2 years, which was great for Eric because he needed that boost of confidence. And in 2010, I had the room to sign 3 guys. But I let various agents throughout the course of those 2 or 3 years of saving space that, just take a look at our room. I said, you have to look at our space in 2010. And I talked to all of the agents who had free agents that year. Oh, yeah. They only thought that I had room for 2 because we already had Dwayne. He had bird rights. And so we ended up having exactly the amount of money, $48.6 million, to sign 3 guys into room, okay? And they all knew that. And so when the window opened to start recruiting these guys, back then it was different. It was private planes, it was Mickey and Nick. It was, we were flying all over the place talking to everybody. That's when it was crazy. And so the same thing with Giannis. I just looked at all these contracts. You always study the contracts, and you see the really great players in the league, who all line up with options in years that they might become free agents. And you start planning that. And so we started to plan for, I think Giannis's year was, and also the Joker is free. Donovan Mitchell was going to be free, but he signed an extension. And you just look at it, it's out there as you rebuild. And so that's what happened. Then we started to have conversations just on other things, mostly about Bam because Alex Saradis is his agent. So you think about it, but there was never any real contact. There was just thinking. They saw the space. Okay, maybe somebody wants to move.
But it may be self-evident. I wanted the basketball expertise explanation of what Giannis is through your eyes, what the comp is to him historically, why it's obvious numerically, but through your eyes, why is this player the one that is the game changer that is similar to the last time you won a championship?
Well, he's a game changer like Zoe and Tim, and we didn't win with them. Came close. That frustrated all the fans, but it gave them something compelling to look forward to, a battle every night over there for 5 years. And we couldn't complete the task. And then Zoe got hurt, and then we ended up going through a couple of dry spells, and We drafted Crown Butler, and then we drafted Dwayne. We signed Lamar Odom. We got Udonis Haslem. We had Brian Grant and Eddie Jones, and we had a nice little team. And then we're able to get Shaq. And so to me, greatness will help you, even if it's a little older, get to the promised land. So we traded for Shaq, gave up Lamar, a great young player, and gave up, Karan, who I love dearly. We had to give up Brian Grant and a first-round pick. That was it, to get Shaq. And we won a title. I remember the whole plan to bring an 18-wheeler in and bring the big diesel in right in front of the arena. And he walked up the stairs. There had to be, 10,000 people there that day.
Helped you change everything,
Yes,
really.
It did. And he brought a big squirt gun out, and he started blowing water on everybody. And so that was a great moment, getting Shaquille. It pumped everything up. And it was the real deal because Dwayne was in his prime, without a doubt. And we built a nice team around Shaquille, veterans that got it done. And there's muscle memory with older veteran players that even though they might be on a team losing, they're not performing at the level, you get them to that Kentucky Derby and you get them to the home stretch, it kicks in.
Oh, but I thought of that. I thought of that with, you've had young teams the last few years, but you've always won with older ones.
That's
like
right.
you've done some, you trust the old guys. You trust the old Warriors a little bit more.
I do. And it has nothing to do with the young players, but today's young player is different. Dan, they're so much better. Better coached, better drilled, nutrition, weight training, all of these things. I mean, this class, right through the second round, had a hell of a lot of great players in it. And I just think the manufacturing of the NBA player, one day maybe our soccer game in the United States might rival that. There's just not enough investment. There's just too spread out, not enough programs. These young players are different. I'm more comfortable with young players that have talent, and I can see the talent. I'll deal with their imperfections because of youth. But from that standpoint, Giannis is right there with Shaq and the big three. He's right there with, in some ways, with Bam in 2017 when we drafted him. And
Giannis, how many players in the sport, give me a number, not names, are more impactful than Giannis?
Not many. I place Giannis in the top 5 in the NBA. He came in 2015 as a number 1 pick. And I remember his name coming up, and I saw pictures of the guy, and he was, 180 pounds, about 6'8". A couple of people went over. Adam Simon saw him early, but, he's too raw. This guy's not ready. He had all kinds of issues just trying to get, passports and visas and stuff. And it was very hard at that time to actually get on a Greek team, but he was drafted anyway by Milwaukee because they saw something there. And Giannis is his Greek name. Basically, that name in Greece is God is gracious. It's a very powerful name. And so it's very fortunate for us to get this guy who's talented, who's humble, who's successful, who knows where his place is right now. And he just wants to win. And we've already put a pretty good cast of players around.
Well, people are saying you'll need 18 months. This year won't be the year. I'm like, you don't know Pat Riley very well if you think he's got an expectation that is 2 years from now.
Yeah. Well, that mental part of 18 months from now, for me and for Andy and for our organization, will take care of the doubters who project 18 months. Our mentality is we want to win now, just like everybody else who thinks they're good wants to win now, and that's what we want to do. And so we're going to, whoever we bring in will help us win now, 10, 11, 12 players. And when you think about what we gave up for them, when you go back to the big 3, this was really something that happened. And a lot of people don't understand. When we signed the big 3, and LeBron, Chris, and Dwayne were all in my office with their agents, and their wives were in the family room waiting for the big announcement and the stage show where they're going to rise up and smoke and everything. We're negotiating final details of their contract. Back then, you could sign a 4-year contract, and then he's free. They're all free. And you can take him right into room. You don't have to give up anything. At the last minute, God bless him, I love him to this day, Leon Rose, who who's in New York doing a great job. He's
At the
represented
last
LeBron.
minute, it became a trade. At the
You
last
have
minute,
to
it was going to be
yes.
free agent. You weren't going to have to give up anything, and then all of a sudden, at the last minute before they go on stage, you've
They
got to
wanted
give up.
6-year deals. 4 years, there's an option, and 2 years because they wanted security in case they got hurt. Well, anyhow.
John Rose, God bless him.
And he said, Pat, my guy's worth it. I said, but you, and tell the players, the 6 draft picks I had to give up. 6. 4 first-round picks, a couple of swaps.
At the last minute, though,
Yes.
you got played?
And then, but Andy and I went to work, and it was like extortion at the time because that's what they wanted, man. But I get it. And so we gave up 6 picks, and I said to Leon, I said to Henry Thomas, and I said to the players, I said, do not come through that door. Don't walk through that door when we're losing, and you don't think you have enough, because these 6 picks in the next year or two would have gotten me 3 or 4 veteran guys to come in before Shane and Ray and Anderson and Rashard Lewis. And
So that first year was the weakest version
Yes.
of that Heat team.
Yes,
You don't believe that's going to be the same case here, right? You're going to be able to build around Giannis. You have some limitations, but for the audience to understand, you're not playing for 2 years from now.
No, I'm not, and I don't want the team to think that way. I want them to believe in the roster that we have. I think it's, as I said, a mentality more than anything else. You don't rush to it. You go out there and compete every night. But we have the pieces, the main pieces. Everybody talks about shooting. That's not the main priority right now. Is another real playmaker. I mean, Tyler was great. Norm Powell. These guys could score at the end of games, get their own shot and stuff. So we need a little more of that. We got a great power rotation, and we got great depth. So we were better off, because back in 2010, it went right to the minimums. And a lot of guys, and that hurt us against Dallas. We didn't have the depth against Dallas when they beat us in 2011. And even though we had a chance to win, we should have won game 2, and if we won game 2, I think we would have won that series. You remember that 15-point lead that we blew, and all the T-shirts and the tabernacle, the Mormon tabernacle of white team came out.
I ended up in a Speedo, unfortunately, because I lost a bet to Charles Barkley because I didn't think there was any chance that team could lose to Dallas.
Well, it was one game, and then we couldn't stop Dirk in game 4, 5, and 6. We could stop him, but we couldn't stop him at the moment of truth. That's what happened, and he was truly at the top of his game. Plus, they had Jason Kidd. They had a really good team. Stackhouse, Jason Terry. They were really good.
Last year on the misery scale for you, how did that feel? And beyond the misery, when I take you back to Bam blocking Jason Tatum at the rim, what do you think are the mistakes made between that moment and what last year was that allowed Boston and some teams in the Eastern Conference to get past you?
Getting Jimmy Butler was a big play for us, and we had a very good team. I gave up 2 first-round picks to get Goran Dragic, and right after LeBron left. And I thought having Wade and Dragic, who was in his prime, and Chris Bosh and Udonis and whoever else we had at 3 at the time, would be very competitive.
And it was competitive.
That 4-year run without Chris, right after LeBron left, was muted. And that's when we drafted Bam and Tyler in 17 and 19. And then we got Jimmy with Dragic, and we went to the bubble and got to the finals the first year. So it was very competitive during that time, but we started drafting, 18 to 27 and keeping these young players and getting some veterans. And so how we got from 2019 in the bubble and Butler to here was the accumulation or the thought process of getting young players in the middle of the draft, developing the hell out of them, which Spo and his staff does, preserving our picks, with the exception of one, which was given up in the Rozier deal.
But not the way you'd ever done business before that, ever in your career, right? You had never done business that way. I'm going to draft in the middle of the first round. I'm going to develop those players. I'm going to keep my picks.
If you're going to do it the right way, then you're going to be drafting in the lottery. You're going to really tank, because that's how teams like OKC and San Antonio, you think about their key players are number 1, number 2, number 3, a 4th pick. They had 3 or 4 years of lottery hits, and they built a base of really good young players who were stars. They weren't. You didn't have to develop them.
That's where I thought you guys fell short, in that Bam and Tyler ended up achieving to the very greatest of their ability, and Boston had 2 guys, top 5 guys, who went higher than they did.
Yeah. So I should have lost a little more. That's what I should have done. But I love Bam, and we got him at 13, Tyler at 14, or vice versa. So they were lottery picks at the back end of the lottery, and both of them played to that level. Were very talented, and
you could say they both overachieved to where they were measured, just by their measurements.
Well, somebody has to be successful on a team. I mean, you designate 2 athletic guys at different positions. One's a real scorer, a shooter, who got better and better, and Bam was just a force of nature in defense and rebounding, and for a couple of years had a hard time scoring, and now he's pretty accomplished, from that standpoint. But we never had a chance, other than Wade and other than Beasley, 2nd pick in the draft, Wade the 5th pick in the draft, ever had that. So if I wanted to do that, then you got to lose like I did in 2008 and take it right to the bottom, and then we lose the lottery roll, and we end up getting the 2nd pick instead of we wanted Derrick Rose. Everybody wanted Derrick. And I like Mike too. I mean, I thought Mike could really play, but that's when we start planning for 2010.
Do you regard anything as the greatest mistake, though, made in the time? It'd be acceptable for you to think, when Bam is blocking Tatum at the rim, hey, we'll compete with Boston at the top of this division for as long as I can keep my health. Tyler Hero, a 37-point performance, he'll grow into the player, and I will compete against Tatum and Brown for the next 5 years. Looking back, what do you think is the greatest error of vision that is in all of that time that allows Boston to sneak past you?
I was always very good in my mind with having a pick every other year. In the year that we didn't, that we'd sign a free agent or somebody. And so that's why we never really became, really bad, because, with our youth thing, because we always had a pick or acquired a pick or got a 2nd-round pick. But we had like 5 picks in a row, from 2019.
You did give up a lot of assets. I think this is the most all-or-nothing trade of your career, because this is the first one that risks, if Giannis gets hurt or something terrible happens, the team's going to be bad after Pat Riley leaves, which is never a risk I've seen you take.
I don't think about that. I'm not thinking about, anything about anybody getting hurt or anything. I get where you're coming from, but you got to have a positive mindset right now that you see this future in front of us with Giannis and Bobby Portis and Bam. Nico is really a good young player, and I think he's going to have his chance to break through in a different way. You still got Wiggs, Fontecchio, you got Larson, Mitchell. We got a good group. We signed Tim Hardaway Jr.
You can't think about injuries, though. The only reason I bring it up is because the sport seems to be breaking its players more than it ever has before, like testing the ligaments of these people and the bone structure, the way the game's being played seems like it makes it riskier. But to ask the question again, do you believe you've made a more all-or-nothing trade than this one in your career? You're not averse
the big three
to risk.
Turned out to be an all-or-nothing trade, because it wasn't. It would have been an all-or-nothing signing, not give up anything. But giving up 6 picks, we didn't have to give up players, but we lost players because we had to get rid of players and get their space. And so those players went somewhere else at the time.
Oh, you had a different. If you hadn't had to give up the picks through through the extortion, you had a plan that had all of these other players in place that would have been available to you.
Discussed.
You were building a real all-star team.
Sign and trades. Well,
not just those 3 guys, but you already had in place, beyond Mike Miller and Udonis Haslem, an assortment of things that could have happened with those 6 picks.
Absolutely. You could think about and already have discussions about, trading players, doing sign-in trades or something if the rules would allow us. But we had the ammunition to have people come to us and say, hey, we have this guy. Well, he'll fit in right here with these 3 guys. We'll give you a first and we'll give you a swap or something. And And so you take some money off somebody's hands. You might have to send something back, but you'd have to sign a few more contracts to be able to send some money back.
I just had no idea until now that your super team that was already a super team that was the most super of teams would have been even more of a super team. I
And
didn't
at the
know
last
that.
minute, I said, Leah, don't do this to me. Don't. We're going to take you right in the room. That
At
was
the
that
moment
was
of
quite a-
maximum leverage, they're getting ready with their wives in the
That's
other
right.
room, and the stage is about to come. That's good work from him as an agent.
Oh,
Which brings
boy.
me to the question: how did it feel?
It
to
never stopped us, though, Leon and I, from going to Springsteen concerts and hanging out in the pit, all the time.
I would have thought that what happened with Leon now would be something that would make the competition stoke. I don't know how you feel about the Knicks watching, or how was it watching the Knicks win the finals?
It was, they were great. They were amazing. They really were amazing. And he has built something incredibly effectively solid, from that standpoint. And, getting Jalen was the first chip, and then going out and getting Anunoby. And he gave up to get these guys, and going out and getting Bridges and getting Cat, those four guys, and Hart, and having then built the bench. And they already had Mitchell Robinson there. A very, very effective guy, but he was hurt all the time. But the last couple of years he wasn't. And I thought he did the best job probably for the team that he did was getting, guys like Clarkson, Bernardo, these guys that these point guards, that he got, Shamet, Alvarado, but he's like a tornado, he's unbelievable. And those guys help win games, or big moments in big games in pivotal times in the second half, when they were naked without Cat or without Jalen. And
so you enjoyed watching it, though? Like you
I'm happy
from a sports and a team perspective, them playing together.
Yes,
I would have thought you wouldn't have liked it very much.
Well, some people are like that. There might have been a little bit of smacking me about, that's a rival of ours, but
age has mellowed you. If you viewed that with no acid boiling in your heart, at
not
least a little
boiling,
bit.
no, but I did not want them to not win because of any other reason, because I really like Wes and like Leon and some of the people up there. I did spend 4 years there, and contrary to how I left, there's not hate there. It wasn't that. It's just a situation that didn't work out.
Where is your relationship as we speak right now with LeBron James? What has thawed over the last dozen years?
It's just thawed. I've seen him at championship fights. I've seen him around, run into him at All-Star games. We had a great embrace when they honored me with a statue out there. Seeing he and Savannah, in the stands at certain things. She's always been really gracious, wonderful person. And LeBron and I, we haven't talked much, but you let go of that stuff. I was very disappointed because I thought we were looking at a dynasty or something dynastic, and we now had a chance to add other players to it in 2014. And when he left, it was very, very disappointing. Think about it. I
know you were hurt. I know you were hurt. And you can be proud and stubborn. So at some point here, you found forgiveness.
Absolutely. And I don't want to hang on to that. I want to see him somewhere on the golf course one day, even though I don't play golf, or something, or see him somewhere and not be able to go up to a guy that, that I developed a great relationship with, and all the people that were around him. And we celebrated together. I see pictures over in Championship Alley of us hugging and pouring champagne on each other's head. Those are moments that are etched in your mind forever. And because somebody leaves you because he wanted to go back to Cleveland for the right reasons, I think, that's his hometown. He'd left them. There was a lot of controversy, and I think that was the right move if he was going to go somewhere. If he went somewhere else, I maybe got more upset. But he went home, and he got that scarlet letter off his back, because a lot of people were angry up there. And he won that back. 4 trips to the finals. They won a world championship, and then it was okay. mea culpa. I came back, won a title, and now I'm going to go to L.A. and build my brand. But he did more than that. He went out there and won a championship in his second year. So he's an incredible athlete. Come on. What, 22 years or 25? I don't even know how many years. 24?
An unprecedented athlete,
Yeah.
given what he's doing at
like
his age.
only Kareem and Kobe.
Well, Kareem was scoring 10 a game at this age. He wasn't.
But
he wasn't
was,
what LeBron
but he
is.
was still no, he was not. But he lasted over 20 years because he never got hurt. LeBron lasted this long because he's never had major injuries. Never. He's one of the most unique athletes ever, and he dedicates his life to his body and to fun and his family. He's really loyal in a lot of ways, and just because he left the Heat, doesn't mean that he's not loyal to that time that he was here.
What is your expectation going forward
I don't know.
with him?
I really don't. I can't. I have nothing, as I think probably, everybody else that had an opportunity to talk with him are just sort of waiting, from that standpoint. So this is a man's decision, and you let him make that decision. He has the right to do that, and so I'm not calling Rich every day and bugging him. He'll make a decision.
What was last year like for you in terms of disappointment, in terms of you still doing this at this age and it getting you out of bed in the morning because you find inspiration and passion all around it?
Well, I love the people that I work with. They've been with me 30 years, and very few of them have left. Some have left for better jobs or whatever it is, or they retired. But they're all still passionate about it. They come to work every day, and all the department heads. I've given up control, which was the hardest thing for me to do, and for you, to give up control of almost everything and every decision and every marker, everything. And Andy runs his department. Tim Donovan runs his
But
department.
they're all people you taught. Like you
Well,
had to give it up to
I
them
didn't
at some
actually-
point. They're all formed adults who are very capable at their jobs.
I got it. And they were very good. They were very young at the time, and they just grew into these positions. Adam Simon, Eric Amsler, all of these, Spo, all of them grew into it. I never taught them, Dan. I just led by example. I never had big meetings with my staff upstairs in BBO and put them on the wall and give them one of those motivational speech. We treat each other with kindness. Don't say the wrong things to people. Just respect everybody's lane. And if it's an all hands on deck thing like it was yesterday, everybody jumps in. Half the people were out in Vegas when we had this introduction of Bobby Portis and Giannis, and they just took over. And I didn't have to do anything but get up there and be a horrible MC. That's not my job.
How hard was it to give up the power, or some of that power that you've given up? Because you overstated a bit. There are 5 people for a long time that have run
That's
the
right.
Miami Heat,
Right.
and you have been the hood ornament on all of it.
I don't say give up the power. I don't think I ever had it. I was given a title by Mickey as the head coach and president, head coach.
You got 10% of the team, though.
Oh, don't even go there. But the point is that I never ever tried to wield power. I hate that word, power. Somebody puts you leadership, as I've said many times, and is an interactive relationship. It really is. Leadership is an interactive relationship whereby you're hired or put in a position or rise to that position or somehow get there. Could be lucky or whatever it is, but you're put in a position to get a result. That's it. And then it's based on trust, developing a real trust, with everybody. And how you gain that trust is through being sincere with them, is that let them know that I want you to get out of this game as much as I can help you get for you, not for me. And I want them to be competent, so I do teach. They have to be competent. in order to gain each other's trust at what they do. In other words, players will not allow coaches to coach them who don't know how to coach. They know immediately this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And so coaches had to learn how to develop and teach players and talk to players. And it's not easy. And then the reliability thing, which is a contradiction. The ultimate contradiction in leadership in sports is that while you're preaching loyalty and you're preaching trust, in the same sentence you will tell them, I will have to trade you one day. And that's part of the business. So if your name pops up in a trade, and if it's just a rumor, because everything's a rumor today. I mean, it really is. And it emanates from social media. I'm not blaming them, and online and podcast, and, they got to get it out. And it's not true. And I tell them, I said, it's just going to happen. Don't get upset. Tyler, it affected Tyler for many years. Every single trade had him in it. Every single trade had somebody else in it. And so reliability is important, but there's a question mark to it, because they have to understand this is a business, and you got to teach them that. Same thing with your staff. Yeah.
Was there indeed resentment about the fact that Bam is the guy who is taken care of by the organization the best because he gets the money, he's the pillar, he's the untradeable piece who's never in the trade rumors?
There's no double standards with us. Bam gets treated just like everybody else, and he doesn't want that. And so if that's the impression out there, it was the same impression that people should have about Alonzo as an anchor, and about Tim, and about Dwayne, and about Shaq.
Well, but some guys are more
Bam,
an extension of you. Like Udonis was an extension of you on the court. Bam's an extension of you. Alonzo, an extension of you on the court.
Of Spo. I never coached. I never coached the Big Three, or I never coached. It's been 18 years, Dan. So these are extensions of Spo, who has a little my DNA in him, and he's had to adapt to a contemporary game and a contemporary player who has a different mindset. These players have different mindsets, and how they learn is different, and a lot of their information comes from the internet. I'm not saying that's bad. It gives you information. I mean, you can go on, on Blinkist and get the top 15 books and listen to them in 15 minutes, and you'll learn something. Like, did you know that in 1950, right after World War II, there's 150 million people in America. 150 million. Now there's 350 million people in 75 years. And where did they all congregate? They all went to Miami and New York and Chicago and LA and San Francisco. And these cities are bursting with people. I mean, look at it down here, Dan.
Ours is too crowded. We've got too many people down here.
When I came here, it was beautiful. Yeah. I mean, it's like, there are no skyscrapers. Then there was a great story. It's a horrible story, actually, about our major cities. In L.A., the number one main water pipe up in Sunset. Did you see that?
Yeah, and with a sinkhole, yeah.
Yeah, but it was put there in 1916, underground. What was it made out of? Clay?
That was an excellent distraction tactic you just played when I asked you about whether there was resentment toward Bam. You took me on a tour of the 1950s, a sinkhole, a pipe, but you said there are no double standards.
It's called an excursion.
It really was. It was expertly done. But you don't, the news arrives that Bam has hit Tyler Hero. How to you? How does that news arrive, and what is...
I didn't like it. I didn't like it for Bam. I didn't even know he was upset because, I read it and I didn't like it. I didn't like what I read. And I think, that those kind of comments, and that's what, as I say, social media has consequences. And so he got offended by it. And I don't think they had time to talk about it or anything like that, but it happened.
I was curious, excuse me for interrupting you. I'm sure people want to hear more from you on this than from me, but I was curious how you would react to it just because I find your relationship with conflict to be fascinating. All around conflict, the cauldron that you create to make people sharper, and the fact that you have told Shaq and Zoe when they get in your face, that's fine. Say fuck you to me if you want, but you better teach me something.
Yeah, that's right. Right. So I wasn't involved in that. I never made a comment about it to either one, which normally I probably would have reached out during the season. Hey, we don't want to do that. And settle it man to man. But, people don't understand in all sports. They don't get into the locker room, even though there's more access, that there's always skirmishes, pushing matches, punches thrown, fights all out that have happened, and they never get out. But then all of a sudden, everybody comes together, they bring it in, and they look at each other. I say, you guys got this out of your system. Are you okay? And they say, we're good, Coach. We know the territory now. I know mine, he knows his. I said, fine, as long as we'll do it together. So there's a lot of conflict that happens. It's not normal, but it happens because of the passion. And both of them are very competitive men. And I was sorry to see that it happened, and I was even more sorry to see that what happened with Bam. And it was over with, and that's it. And they'll carry on. The league's not going to do anything about it, but somewhere they'll patch it up.
What do you mean, though? You were more sorry about it for what happened with Bam?
Yeah, that Bam actually took a little bit of a shot at him. And I think what people saw on social media, and I don't know what they saw on social media, it's over. Conflict, skirmishes, passion, things that are said today. And even players are addicted to social media. And when you start going on X and start responding to somebody who's criticizing you in some way, or he's on a burner phone, or however that happened, turned into one screenshot, somebody, things can happen. And so that's the world that we live in right now. And it seems like there's more vitriol than there's ever been.
I'm going to let you go, even though I can talk to you for hours and there's not enough time to talk to you. I was surprised to hear you articulate the level of anxiety you had before everything that needed to happen to get this getting this trade done. Walk me through the anxiety of you're this caretaker for this organization. You're under here, I think, more criticism than you've ever been under because you've largely been immune in South Florida. You've earned it, an immunity largely from very much criticism. But here toward what has to be the end of your career, it's gotten a little louder because you've created the standards and the expectations. Hey, it's winning or misery. Second place isn't good enough. Making the finals isn't good enough. Your level of anxiety, walk me through it.
When I was talking about anxiety, it was not what Andy and I were doing prior to making or completing the trade. That was a little bit exciting. Up and down, but you're close, in and out, other teams, your names, and you want to do this. You've decided that we're going to do this as an organization, so let's pursue it. But once we made the deal on draft night, I had to wait until July the 6th. Anything could happen and blow the thing up, and so when we could officially announce the trade by making the trade call to the league on the 6th, it was less anxiety. It was over. It was done, and we're really, really happy about it. And then all of a sudden, usually Giannis would be in town and Bobby would be in town and everybody would be here and do their physicals, do their press conferences, and then we get off to our summer vacation. Chris and I had to cancel a week in Europe, which is okay.
Never forgive him. You'll never forgive him.
It's okay. I told him about it, but I was fine. I just had to wait for the 15th because his brother was getting married and he had some other things going. And yesterday was the culmination of a year and a half of thought and work and talking. And this is not a pat decision. This is an organizational decision with Mickey and Nick and myself, Andy, Spo, Adam, Simon. It's not me anymore saying, I want this done. No, I'm a lot more open to that. So I don't worry about the criticism, Dan, anymore. I don't, and it always used to be justified and objective throughout my 30 years by all writers here. You know, Edwin, I don't care who it was, Hank, you know, I just, Joe, I throw out the old names, and you know, Cody, and you know, Dave Hyde, you know, all of those men that I would stand and listen to their questions. I looked at those men as professional journalists, and when I read the story, I said that's true, but it's great writing, and he's got a point there, and I wasn't offended by it. I don't think I ever went back at anybody.
You've always been very good about criticism,
no, but I
remarkably good at.
But I think real good journalists, sports journalists, you know, if you want to go after somebody, go after somebody. You can be one of those guys.
But that's real confidence, though, when the criticism doesn't actually bother you.
Well, it bothers me a little, but it doesn't, because the next day it's over with and it's gone. Now it's amplified, as you know. I mean, it's amplified. It's amplified like loud, because once a really good journalist will, you know, write something about you that you respect, that might have something in there, a sound bite, that then it gets down to social media, and they make more out of it than it should be.
Well, the part
it's bad for you guys.
The part where I could imagine it would agitate you if it were getting to you in any sort of way is that you're 81 and there's some ageism that forgets your history and the resume, and might suggest that you haven't been able to evolve through all the kinds of basketball, and then point and say he's 81. I imagine the old warrior in you would want to bite the head off of those people, because you know, really, you don't think I have it anymore.
I get it. I get that, and to me, I understand that. Get the old man out of there, okay? You know, it doesn't make me want to go back and dye my hair, and you know, and get the bags out from under my eyes, and get this thing here that my wife wants me to get fixed. You know, get it out of there. No, age is beautiful if you show some grace in growing older, and at the same time having people like Mickey and Nick, you know, Madeline, who say just keep doing what it is you love doing, and that's why I'm happy for the franchise to be able to bring in the Giannis. You know, Giannis.
Do you even think of retirement? Like, I'm not even going to ask you about mortality and aging. Retirement. Do you spend any time thinking about retirement?
I think about mortality because, you know, where Chris and I are going, we're going over to Europe to get our blood scrubbed and get all these toxins out of our blood. And we're in the longevity and health and as much as we can be to try to extend in a way that you're vital and you're doing something that is meaningful. You know, I don't think about that. I just think about the next day and what we're going to do. And one day it will happen. One day I'll step aside.
I don't believe you.
No.
I don't believe you. I think you're lying.
You're going to have to hang around.
I think, no, but I am hanging around. I've been hanging around. You've been saying one day I'm going to do it. I'm like 10 years after he's gone, he's still going to be sitting in that seat. He's still going to be around. They're going to feel his hot breath, mad because they didn't do this in the third quarter.
And I still do that. I can go back to every single play that was game defining for us in big games. I remember them all, but I don't think about it. So you stay in the things that you're doing that you love, even the ones that bring you anxiety and bring you misery. If you love doing it, that's part of life. You know, I mean, you got to deal in life with winning and or losing all the time. Everybody at every level, at whatever you do, you got to be able to deal with difficulties, as M. Scott Peck wrote in the book, The Road Less Traveled. In my favorite book, my favorite beginning statement.
The first sentence, 3 words.
Life is difficult. Yeah. I've changed it to life is a bitch, okay? But excuse me, but life's difficult. And he goes on to teach you that once you understand that life is difficult, once you really understand that and you go through it and the ups and downs, then it becomes normal. And then when it becomes normal, you can carry on.
admire him for a lot of different reasons. His basketball credentials are unimpeachable, but his wisdom over the years has been a precious treasure. Thank you, Pat, for spending this time with us, even though I know you hate those podcasts.
I don't hate him. I just don't listen to him. Okay. And good luck to you, okay? In all the what do they call them now? The
shipping container.
The shipping container.
You can remember that you scored 19 points when you were 6th grade, but you can't remember the names of anybody in the shipping container.
Well, they rotate all the time.
It's because you don't care about them and you shouldn't.
No, because there should be a cargo container. That's different than a shipping container.
Is it? How's it
Because
different?
a shipping container is just one of the pieces on a big cargo ship. So it's a cargo
So you want
ship
them
that
promoted
contains
to a larger, so that say they could be the whole cargo ship.
That's right.
Pat, thank you. Always a pleasure. I say
Okay,
that
Dan.
literally and always.
Okay. And you too, forever and for always, man. Thank you.